Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Paul Walsh Field in New Bedford, where tonight the New Bedford Cable Network is proud to present any CBL action. It's the homestanding New Bedford Bay Sox taking on their arch rival, the Newport Gulls. Joe Cabral joined by my partner Chris Santos for the action from Paul Walsh Field in New Bedford. The New England Collegiate Baseball League coming your way on the New Bedford Cable Network for the first time in 2012. Chris and I, delighted to bring you the action here tonight. Temperatures dropping a bit here, Chris, tonight, but a fine night for baseball.
It is right now. It could be a chance of rain a little bit later on. Give it about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Who knows? Hopefully it stays away for our game against the Newport Gulls, the first place Newport Gulls, for the start of the 2012 Dunkin' Donuts Cup between the two teams.
On the mound here this evening for the Bay Sox is Sean Fitzgerald out of Notre Dame. Opening pitch is a ball. Fitzgerald facing the leadoff man for the Gulls, the left fielder, number 28, Casey Kaufman. Here's Fitzgerald's pitch on the outside corner for a strike. A ball on the strike now to Casey Kaufman.
Fitzgerald from McLean, Virginia, stands at 6'3", 175, right-hander.
Pitch is in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike now. Kaufman out of Arizona State.
Had a nice game in a 16-3 trouncing over Laconia yesterday as he went 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored from that leadoff position.
Here's Fitzgerald's pitch. Fastball low and outside. 3 balls and a strike now to Casey Kaufman. He'll be followed by the right fielder Robbie Ort and then the catcher Alex DeLeon. Here's Fitzgerald's pitch. Low and inside, ball 4. So Kaufman leads it off with a walk here this evening.
Pops that on-base percentage right up, already at 833. He'll move it up another notch as he's only have 1 game under his belt. Again, 4 at-bats. This is 5th, and he draws a walk.
That'll bring Robbie Ort to the plate. Ort, the right fielder, steps in as well from the left side. Ort out of Indiana State. Is Fitzgerald's first pitch from the stretch on the outside corner, a fastball for a strike. No balls and a strike to the right fielder Robbie Ort. He'll be followed by DeLeon, the catcher. Fitzgerald checks the runner. Throw over to the first baseman Black. Back easily is Kaufman. Is Fitzgerald's pitch low, and it gets through the legs of the catcher, Andy Lally. Doesn't go to the backstop, but far enough behind Lally so that Kaufman can advance to second base.
Well, Joe, usually the ball bounces up a little bit. That one kind of stayed down, and Lally lost it. It went by, so Kaufman will advance to second and give Ort another chance to get himself a ribby. He's got 4 already in the 2 games that he's played. He's got the most at-bats with 10. He has 2 hits, 1 run. He has a home run, so he does have some pop in the second position.
The Gulls traditionally a powerhouse in the New England Collegiate Baseball League. No balls and 2 strikes to Ort. Fitzgerald with a sign. To the set, here's the pitch. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. So Ort goes down swinging for out number 1 here in the first.
That's the best pitch so far right there from Fitzgerald. Nice little on the left-hander on the inside, drop it around his ankles. He chased it down low for the strikeout.
The catcher, Alex DeLeon, stepping in. Right-hand hitter. DeLeon out of the University of Kansas, a Jayhawk. Takes a pitch on the outside corner from Fitzgerald for a strike.
444 on the season with 4 hits at 9 at-bats. 2 runs scored, 2 doubles, and a home run himself with 4 ribbies.
Fitzgerald to the set. Here is the pitch. Pitch stayed a bit high this time. A ball and a strike now to DeLeon. One of the things we've always noticed about the Gulls, Chris, is they have a very big team normally, meaning size-wise, and we've seen that in the first 3 batters tonight. The leadoff man, Kaufman, stands about 6'4". Absolutely huge for a leadoff man. Ball in the dirt. Blocked nicely by Lally, but it's 2 balls and a strike now to De Leon. He'll be followed by the first baseman, Steve Anderson. Fitzgerald to the set. Here's his pitch. Grounded hard to the first baseman, Black, on one hop. Nicely spears it to his left. Goes to the bag unassisted for the out. De Leon retired. The runner, Kaufman, advances to third on the play.
Well, the ball went to Anderson's left and does a nice job of staying down with it, as you said, Joe. Easily takes it himself to get the out, so it's a big out for Fitzgerald. 2 outs here in the top of the first.
And it will bring up the first baseman, the cleanup hitter, Steve Anderson. Anderson out of Georgetown takes a pitch on the inside corner for a strike.
You look back at that at a home plate umpire, kind of gave him a look like to say, yeah, you sure that was a strike?
Thought it was a bit inside, but Fitzgerald gets the pitch. Here's his offering. Fouled off to the left and out of play. So no balls and 2 strikes now to Steve Anderson.
Well, you got to give Fitzgerald a little bit of credit here, Joe. I mean, he walked Kaufman at the beginning, settled down, and has been throwing strikes ever since.
And has worked well from the stretch. Yeah. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's Fitzgerald's pitch. Breaking ball in the outside corner for a strike, and you can tell that time Anderson did not like that one at all.
No, he did not.
Shakes his head a bit as he heads to the dugout. He's caught looking, and in the first, Fitzgerald strikes out a pair. After a half inning of play, no score, the Bay Sox coming to the plate.
Well, we said the Gulls are 2-0 in the season with a big win yesterday, 16-3 over Laconia. Meanwhile, the Bay Sox 2-1, and they have 0-1 at home, Joe, so they're looking for their first home win. 2-0 on the road, winning their last one 8-1 over Mystic. Let's take a look at their lineup and see how Coach Rick Miller, former Red Sox great, will go as we take a look at the standings first. See Laconia at 2-2, Sanford 1-3, and Mystic off to a horrible start at 0-4. So Newport, New Bedford up top right as we speak.
Obviously early in the season, but nice to see the Bay Sox off to a good start. And Newport, as we mentioned, Chris, traditionally a powerhouse in the NECBL.
Well, let's see if we get the Bay Sox lineup to see what they're going to go with tonight. I know we get to Newport, but we'll get to them next in. But let's take a look at the Bay Sox as we see them right here. Batting first for them, they'll have Evan King playing second base. Batting second, Zach Stone playing third base. Batting third, Alex Black, the first baseman. Batting fourth, the DH cleanup, Alex Burdick. Batting fifth is your catcher, Andy Lally. Batting sixth, Kyle Anderson playing right field. Batting seventh, Peyton Hart will be the shortstop. Batting eighth, Alex Whitkus and playing right field. And finally, batting ninth, Zach Graysick playing center field.
And the pitcher tonight, of course, for the Bay Sox was Fitzgerald. And on the hill for the Newport Gulls, it will be number 38, Pete Kellich.
Kellich, a senior out of Bryant University. He comes and hails from Jackson, New Jersey. Stands at 6'2", 185, right-hander.
His battery mate, the catcher this evening, is Alex De Leon. So no score after a half inning of play as the Bay Sox come to the plate for the first time here this evening. Evan King, the second baseman, will lead it off. King out of Millersville University.
Batting .385 so far in the 3 games they've played. 5 for 13 with 2 runs scored. A home run and a ribby, as you see. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Millersville.
Here's the pitch from Kellich on the outside corner for a strike. So King will be followed by the third baseman, Zach Stone, and then Alex Black, the Bay Sox first baseman. Just underway at Paul Walsh Field in New Bedford. Takes a pitch low and a bit inside. A ball and a strike now to King, the second baseman for the Bay Sox. Kellish working quickly here so far tonight, as did Fitzgerald. Good to see. Here's the pitch from Kellish. Misses again. 2 balls and a strike now to Evan King.
2 borderline pitches there, kind of low.
Very much so, Chris.
Yeah.
The pitch from Kellish. Ground ball into left field for a base hit. Just found a hole. Didn't really hit it that hard, Chris, but in the old 6 hole between the shortstop and the third baseman.
Yep. 5-6 right in the corner. Not much on it, as you said, but the shortstop was kind of over towards second, found its way right through, and the Bay Sox get their lead off on, just like Newport did. Let's see if they can do something with it, and that will bring up Stone.
Manager Rick Miller, the third base coach as well for the Bay Sox, giving the signs to Zach Stone, the third baseman. 200 early here in the season for Stone.
Yeah, 2 for 10 with 1 run scored.
Takes a pitch for a strike. Peers down at Miller. Of course, had a great career with the Red Sox in center field. Was with the Angels as well.
Yep.
Here's a pitch, and Stone a bit late, fouls it back. No balls and 2 strikes now to the Bay Sox third baseman. Runner on first is Evan King. Healthy lead there for King. Unusual stance as he leads off first. Kind of with the right foot behind the left foot a bit staggered in his stance. Usually you're lined up perfectly straight, so we'll see if King has any speed as Stone just reaches out and taps one into right field for a base hit. That's a good 2-strike swing there, Chris, from Zach Stone, just protecting the plate, really let the pitcher do the work and just slap the ball into right field, and the Bay Sox have something going.
Great piece of hitting. Ball was low and outside, just reached out, placed it to the right side, found the spot. First 2 guys on for the Bay Sox, and they got their third man up, Alex Black.
Black stepping in, the Bay Sox first baseman. Here's the pitch from Kellish. Breaking ball inside that. Black just fouls down the third baseline past Bay Sox manager Rick Miller.
Black off to a slow start, only batting 182 so far in the 3 games played. Needs to get on track. Hopefully this would be a nice time to start getting some hits going.
Kellish to the stretch. Here's the pitch. Fouled off to the right, out of play. Another 0-2 hole for a Bay Sox hitter, but it hasn't been problematic so far tonight.
Yeah,
this time Black 0-2.
One of the difference, Joe, that I've seen from the past, very aggressive at the plate, and they're not afraid to just take their hacks, which we didn't see too much in the first couple of seasons with the Bay Sox. So Rick Miller got him swinging.
Here's the pitch from Kellish. Misses low and outside. The ball in 2 strikes now. Usually you're trying to set up a hitter, so you go low and away to maybe come high and tight. Let's see what happens here on the 1-2 pitch.
Black looks like he crowds the plate, too.
Certainly does. Kellish to the stretch, and here's his pitch. Another breaking ball, soft line into right field. That's going to fall for a base hit. They're going to hold the runner King at third, and it's a good thing. He would have been nailed as a fine throw from the right fielder. Robbie Ort.
Well, it took a short hop. It would have been in front of the catcher. It would have been interesting to see. That was a late one from Miller. It looked like he was going to run through the sign, was King, but he held on. Bases loaded now in the top of the first with the cleanup man. Bollock up, batting .400 so far on the season.
That was another example of just taking what the pitcher was giving you. As Black just reached out, Chris, it was not particularly hard hit. In fact, all 3 Bay Sox hits have not been really hard hit, but they've been in spots where fielders could not make the play, and as a result, they have the bases loaded with no one out in the first.
And you see from Ottawa, Ontario, University of Buffalo. What's interesting, too, Joe, is pitch counts against them. That all 3 hitters, and yet still find a way to get on.
Very aggressive at the plate. Yep. Bulldog at the plate, the cleanup hitter for the Bay Sox, 1-0 count. DH here tonight. Grounds one right to short. They'll go to turn 2. 6, 4, 3. No RBI for Bulldog on the 6-4-3 double play. It was Butera to Kennery to Anderson.
Now batting, the catcher.
The Bay Sox have a 1-0 lead, but
Number 18.
a potential big inning might have been cut down in that on that double play, Chris.
Well, it was a good turn of the double play, but first it was the top spin, Joe, that had the momentum going forward, and the ball hopped up perfectly right where you want it to turn a crisp double play, and it was Butera to Kennery to Anderson. They made it look easy.
Standing in now for the Bay Sox, the catcher and number 5 hitter Andy Lally takes a pitch outside for a ball.
Double play, always a nice way to get yourself out. Pitching from the windup with a man on third. Interesting.
Lally fouls one back. Out of Southern New Hampshire University. The New England 10 conference. Running around third for the Bay Sox is the first baseman Alex Black. Here's the pitch. Check that, it's the third baseman Zach Stone as the ball is fouled back by Lally. But 2 away for the Bay Sox here in the first. They have a run on the board. But a timely double play, Chris, the pitcher's best friend. I'm sure Kellish would love to get out of this with only 1 run. He's working now from the windup. Here's his pitch. Line drive, just fouled down the right field line. Went over the head of the first baseman for the Gulls, Steve Anderson. It was in fair territory at that point, Chris, but it kept on tailing and ended up a couple feet foul.
Yeah, but again, 1-2 count outside and doing the right things, going to the right side with that kind of a pitch.
That was well stroked.
There it is
the
again.
hardest hit ball. This time he grounds it to the first baseman. Anderson juggles it, but is able to send it over to the pitcher Kellish, covering for the out that retires the side. So the Bay Sox able to score a run, but on 3 hits they were looking for much more. For New Bedford in the first, 1 run on 3 hits. There were no Gulls errors, and a runner was left on base. After an inning of play, the score, the Bay Sox 1, the Newport Gulls nothing.
We offer what our motto states. Stay fit for life.
I'm going to go over the Gulls lineup that we did not do at the beginning. We will get that for you now as Casey Kaufman was their leadoff batter. Batting second, Robbie Orr playing right field. Alex De Leon was the catcher. Steve Anderson batting cleanup at first base. Batting now, Jeff Malillo will be leading off at DH. Then Connor Kennery, second base, batting 6th. Batting 7th is the third baseman, Brett Winger. Batting 8th, Yale Rosen. He'll be playing center field. And batting 9th, the shortstop, Blake Butera, who turned that nice double play to get out of the jam for Kalish for this 2-0 Newport Gulls team. So they'll have 5, 6, and 7 coming up for them.
Leading off the second for the Gulls. Their designated hitter from Rutgers University.
The DH, Jeff Malillo stepping in
Number 10.
out of Rutgers.
Malillo.
Malillo, a veteran of the NECBL. He was here with the Gulls last year, if I remember correctly. He'll be followed by the second baseman, Connor Kennery, and the third baseman, Brett Winger. 1-0, the Bay Sox lead at top of the second. Glad you've joined us on the New Bedford Cable Network. Joe Cabral and Chris Santos bringing you the action. Fitzgerald working from the windup. Here's his first pitch of the second. Misses low and inside. A little bit herky-jerky, Chris, in his delivery.
Yeah, in a little bit of a way. I think it's kind of the, you'll see it right here on that kind of, and then he brings himself right around to the right an awful lot. It's a big leg swing as he gets that little hitch as he drives that front foot into the pitcher's mound.
The old school term was a crossfire delivery. steps to his right and throws across his body. So crossfire pitch. Ball is fouled back. Scoreboard has 2 balls and a strike. I think it's a ball and 2 strikes. We'll see here. Melillo, right-hand hitter, grounds one back through the middle. Therefore, the Bay Sox is king, the second baseman. Over to Black in time for the out.
Good backhand right there.
Now batting,
Quick
second baseman,
transition
Wake Forest,
from glove to hand. Make a nice throw.
Connor Canary.
Connor Kennery stepping in now for the Gulls here in the second. I'm going to bring up an old school name. I don't know if you even remember him, Chris, but there was a pitcher by the name of Phil Reagan. They used to call him the Vulture, and it looks like the delivery here
Same.
tonight from Fitzgerald is very, very similar.
Now you might see a couple of them still around right now in the American League. We saw a little bit the other day. I'm trying to think of the pitcher's name, and he kind of looked like that when I don't know if it was in the National Series that the Red Sox played with. It looked like there was a pitcher that was doing that. Looked like he did it from the left side. He's a left-hander, if I'm not mistaken.
3 balls and no strikes here quickly to the Gulls' second baseman, Kennery. He'll be followed by the third baseman, Winger, and then the center fielder, Yale Rosen. 1 away, top of the second. Bay Sox lead at 1-0. Here's Fitzgerald's pitch. Misses high and outside. 4-pitch walk for Kennery. He'll make his way down to first base.
The third baseman,
And the Gulls have their second
number
base runner of the night.
Brett Winger.
Third baseman Brett Winger steps in.
Batting .500. 4 for 8. 3 runs, 1 double, 1 home run with 4 RBIs.
Third baseman again, standing in tall at the plate. Fouls one straight back. No balls in the strike. 1 away here in the second. Top of the second. Gulls trailing the Bay Sox 1-0. Ground ball chopped
Might
toward
only get
short.
1.
There to get it is Hart. He'll go to second, no, and then to first. He's safe as well. So Hart tried to go for the double play, even though it was a high chopper, Chris. Not a good decision there. Needed to go to first to get the sure out. Instead, both runners are safe.
I thought for sure that one definitely he was going to go to first. Thought he was safe at second. I actually considered he was out at first, but umpire called him safe there also. So first and second with 1 out, and the Gulls are threatening.
So if you're scoring, that's a fielder's choice. No error charged on the play. But runners on first and second with no one out without the courtesy of a hit. Here's a pitch, a fastball low and inside for a strike. As Yale Rosen, the center fielder, steps in. Left-handed hitter. Runner on first now is Kennery. On second is Kennery. On first is Winger. Here's the pitch from Fitzgerald. Fly ball lofted, left center field and deep. That ball is to the fence and to the wall for an apparent double. It'll score 1. They'll hold the runner Winger at third base, and it's an RBI double for Rosen, going the opposite way, and the Gulls have tied it at 1.
Well, Joe, I think that one kind of fooled you because once it got off the bat, the wind blowing into that direction, and, man, that ball carried a long way.
Carried a long way. And again, you mentioned, Chris, the breeze is blowing from right to left, and that ball kept on tailing off the left-handed bat. Looked like it was going to be in the gap, but it went a lot further than I thought. It went to the warning track and bounced up against the wall for an RBI double. As Blake Butera, the shortstop, steps in for Newport.
Yeah, that was about 349 because it was the base of the fence. That's 350 out there in that alley.
Runners on second and third now for Newport with only 1 away as Butera, the shortstop, steps in. Here's the pitch from Fitzgerald. Misses outside. A ball on the strike now to Butera. With 1 away here, the Bay Sox playing the middle of the infield back. The corners about halfway. Third baseman a little bit closer than the first baseman. So a hard hit ball either back to the box or right at the corners. They might consider coming home. That's a slow chop, and they'll hold the runner. Throw to first in time. Nicely done by Stone. as they held the runner at third on that slow roller to the third baseman.
Well, I thought Fitzgerald was thinking about taking it, and then he backed off. Easy for Stone to come in. He was playing in a good position. Nice, again, from glove to hand to get the throw across to get Butera. So 2 outs. It gets back up to the top of the order with Kaufman.
That's a big out for Fitzgerald. Now you have to have a hit or a wild pitch or an error of some type to score a run. Can't score in an out. As Kaufman takes a pitch for a strike. He walked in the first, made it all the way to third base, but was stranded there. 2 away for the Gulls now here in the second. Game is tied at 1. Runners on second and third for Newport as Kaufman takes a pitch low and inside. Ball even, count evens at a ball on the strike. Fitzgerald to the set. Here's the pitch. Fastball low inside corner for a strike. One thing you can say so far about Fitzgerald, for the most part out of the stretch, Chris, he's been staying low in the zone. He's kept the ball down. Struggles a bit from the windup, it seems. Here's Fitzgerald's pitch. Misses low and outside. 2 balls and a strike.
He could be a relief pitcher, and he's good from the stretch, likes to be there. Instead of a starter, yeah. On a Notre Dame.
To the set. Here's the 2-1 pitch. And he hits Kaufman right on the heel.
Yep.
Kaufman, hit by pitch, heads to first base. And the bases are filled now for the right fielder, Robbie Ort.
It was interesting because the home plate umpire was looking at Lally like it didn't hit him. He's saying, how come you ain't running to get the ball? But then they realized that he was a hit pitch.
Yeah, it was clear that it hit him right on the foot.
But he kind of looked and backed off like, what are you doing? Well, bases loaded.
And here's Robbie Ort, struck out swinging in the first. Here's Fitzgerald's pitch. Ort lifts one, left side, foul, and out of play. No balls and a strike to Ort.
Now, Joe, I know you're a bat guru. I don't usually get to see too much of a blue one. Maybe you can fill us in on that one. Usually we get the, the light brown or the dark brown, but tell us a little bit about the blue if you know that one.
Well, of course, every manufacturer makes different models. It looks like Trinity.
Yeah.
Trinity model bat. Can't see the label right now, but the model looks like it's Trinity bat that's manufactured out in California. I've seen players, Adrian Gonzalez has used that bat at times, swing and a miss. Pitch low and inside, had Ort a bit fooled. Ball and 2 strikes.
Breaking ball is working well for Fitzgerald. He had at the start of this game.
Here's the pitch. Fastball just misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good discipline there from Ort.
Yeah, tough one to lay off.
A good call by the home plate umpire. He didn't get fooled by the fact that the catcher set up outside and caught the ball exactly where he set up. Here's the pitch from Fitzgerald. Ort lifts one in the infield. In comes the first baseman, Black. He'll make the catch on the mound for the out that retires the side. So again, some Houdini work from Fitzgerald, able to strand runners at third, second, and first. First, second, and third. As the Gulls are able to score just 1 run. For Newport in the second, 1 run on 1 hit. There were no New Bedford errors. And 3 runners were left on base. Tied at 1 after an inning and a half.
Joe, they had a comment the other day on the Red Sox game, and I believe it was by Remy and even Orsello. They talked about a pop-up that goes right near the pitcher's mound. Why can't a pitcher make an attempt to catch that ball? And they had this big discussion about, what they thought. And Remy said, hey, I think they should be able to just make it and catch the ball. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I frankly don't understand where the whole thing started, but I'm sure what happened is pitchers not fielding a lot, not getting a lot of opportunities, and then someone made an error here or there, made a mistake on a ball like that, and really not handling too many pop-ups, so what happened over time is someone decided that that's baseball protocol, and that's just the way it is today.
Yeah.
When you're at the lower levels, usually the better athletes are your pitchers, so you see Little League, Pony League, high school, usually they'll make the plays themselves.
Yep.
But once you get to college, you rarely see pitchers making plays on a pop-up on the infield. It would have been a much easier play there for the pitcher Fitzgerald, but instead the first baseman Black came over, made the catch as he had to go up the hill.
He did. But he makes the catch and gets the out. So we'll go to the bottom of the second for the Bay Sox.
We're tied at 1.
Be led off by Kyle Anderson, followed by Peyton Hart, and then Alex Whitkus in the third spot for this inning.
The right fielder, Carl Anderson, the number 6 hitter, out of Bryant, stepping in.
Batting 154.
Here's the pitch from Kellish, taken by Anderson for a strike. A pair of Andersons here tonight. Carl Anderson for the Bay Sox in right field, and Steve Anderson, the first baseman for the Gulls. So this could be Anderson grounding out to Anderson. A ball on the strike now.
I was kidding around with Dan Cabral a bit earlier about all the Alexes. There's 4 of them in the lineup tonight.
Is Anderson grounding one to the right side off the glove of the second baseman, Canary, and he can't get it to the first baseman, Anderson, in time to retire Anderson, so he reaches. Let's see how they score it.
No, I think he might have to go in an error here. Looked like he had the glove on it.
Got there, did have the glove on it. It wasn't a diving play of any
knee.
sort. It is an error charge to the second baseman for the Gulls. So Anderson reaches on the E4 as Peyton Hart, the shortstop for New Bedford, steps in. 273 on the season, has 3 hits. So very early in the campaign for most of these players, very few at bats.
Leading hits right now is Evan King with 5, and Lally has 4.
They'll check the runner, Anderson, back safely.
But 3 home runs, Joe, for the Bay Sox.
A little more pop here
Yeah.
in 2012. Here's the pitch to Hart. Takes a pitch low and outside. Count evens, a ball on the strike. Peyton Hart out of Kennesaw State University. Here's the pitch from Kellish. Low and outside. 2 balls and a strike now to Hart. Alex Whitkus is on deck, the left fielder for the Bay Sox. One of the Alexes that Chris alluded to. A couple of Zachs as well. So a lot of Zachs and a lot of Alexes. Here's the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Hart.
You have Baldock, Alex. You have Alex Black and Alex Whitkus. I wonder how Miller calls him that. Must be calling him all by the last name. Hey, Whitkus.
Certainly can't say, hey,
Yeah.
Alex. He'll check the runner. Throw was not on the bag because it looked as if they might have had Anderson leaning.
I thought he was moving. 2-2 count. Let's see if Miller did not give any signs on that one. Let's see.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Down swinging goes Peyton Hart
Now batting, the left fielder from
for
Fairfield University.
out number 1 here in the second.
Alex Whitkus.
Alex Whitkus, the left fielder, will step in.
Still looking for his first hit on the season.
That is a Trinity bat. Looks like many of the clubs here in the NECBL sponsored by Trinity, and that's what happens a lot. Usually in these leagues, certain bat manufacturers try to get hooked up with the league.
Fairfield University, North Attleboro, Massachusetts. So
Relatively local.
Close,
and
yes.
Alex was here last year with the Bay Sox. Takes a pitch outside. Ball gets away from the catcher, De Leon. Just dropped it, Chris, and that allows Carl Anderson to advance to second base. That'll be a pass ball on the catcher, De Leon.
So they move up to second base with the 1 out.
So an RBI opportunity now for Alex Whitkus.
Look at the center fielder, how they shade him. Wow.
Definitely playing him like a pull hitter. Ground ball to the first baseman, Anderson. Steve Anderson steps to the bag, unassisted, to retire Whitkus for out number 2.
The center fielder from State University of New York at Cortland, number 9, Zach Graychick.
Zach Graychick stepping in now for the Bay Sox, the center fielder. Out of SUNY Cortland, upstate New York. Here's the pitch from Kellish. Outside corner for a strike. Kept that fastball on the outside barn
he
here
has.
so far tonight. A ball and no strikes. Fly
On the
ball
right field
lifted
line.
to right field. Grichuk there. And
He
out
does.
as the first baseman, Anderson, in foul territory. Headed toward the bullpen, makes the catch to retire Grichuk for the out. That retires the side. So for New Bedford in the second, no runs on no hits. There was a Newport Gull error, and there was a runner left on base. After 2 complete, we're tied at 1.
That was a nice little slide there by Anderson to go out and get that ball and make the catch. The wind blowing it back toward him, but reached out, did a little slide, hung on to it to get out of the inning.
Nice play there by
Yeah.
Anderson.
There you see, head coach Rick Miller, former Red Sox center fielder.
Number 16, Rick Miller. Then went to the Angels. Seemed like the Red Sox had a connection there.
Yeah, where that Freddie Lynn went and
Freddie
Evans
Lynn
went,
from
right?
the Red Sox to the
There
Angels.
you go too.
Evans went to the Orioles
Orioles.
eventually. But Jerry Remy came from
Yep,
the
Remy.
Angels to the Red Sox.
Oh, I thought the big one was just recently was Epstein making a move over for the Cubs and signing a guy that spent some big money for Jorge Soler. Interesting to see what kind of player he's going to be.
Yeah, 9 years, $30 million.
Yeah.
So relatively speaking, inexpensive if you figure it out.
Yep.
Just about
Off the 3rd inning.
$3.5 million a year. A little less than that even.
I just
but
thought the number of years was interesting.
for guys never been proved out
Yeah.
in the major leagues, and that's what they're doing. They're hedging their bets. They're saying we're going to give you a relatively big number, but it's going to be a small number for a long
For a long
time. So here's the pitch from Fitzgerald to lead off the 3rd. Call for a strike. Stepping in for the Gulls is the catcher, De Leon. Takes a pitch for a ball. A ball and a strike now to Alex De Leon. He's over 1 on the night. Here's the pitch from Fitzgerald, and De Leon fouls one off to the right. Headed out onto the road that used to lead to Keith Junior High School. Now it's really leading up toward McCoy Stadium.
Yeah, in the brand new field house.
Ball lofted to left field by De Leon, but it's right at the New Bedford left fielder, Whitkus. He makes the easy out.
Now batting.
One away here in the 3rd
Number 30, Steve
for the Gulls.
Anderson.
The new Jack Nobrega field house. Just recently put his name on there for his ceremony.
Steve Anderson, the first baseman for the Gulls, stepping in, struck out looking in the 1st. Takes a pitch low and inside. 3rd inning of work here for Sean Fitzgerald. working quickly, as is Kellish. Pitch low. Ball on the strike. No, check that. 2 balls and no strikes now to Steve Anderson. Jeff Malillo, the DH, is on deck. Pitches outside. 3 balls and no strikes. Seems like Fitzgerald has one of these 4-pitch walks in his bag of tricks every inning. Did it in the first, did it in the second, now doing it again here in the third.
Never from the stretch, though.
4-pitch walk. Anderson will make his way down to first base.
Now batting.
Gulls have a base runner as Jeff Malillo steps in. He grounded out to second in the second to lead it off. We're tied at 1. Lights on now at Paul Walsh Field in New Bedford. Temperatures dropping a bit. Here's a pitch from Fitzgerald on the inside corner for a strike, and he looks a lot more comfortable from the stretch. No balls and a strike to Jeff Malillo. Here's the pitch from Fitzgerald, breaking ball.
Ooh.
Said it was a bit low, Chris.
Well, thought that one looked pretty good.
The ball and the strike to Malillo. Connor Kennery on deck. Anderson, the runner on first. Here's the pitch from Fitzgerald on the outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes now to Malillo. Here's Fitzgerald's pitch.
Setting out up there again.
Malillo just splashes one foul to the right side, out of play. A ball and 2 strikes to Malillo. Mostly blue skies all along the south coast today as Malillo fouls another one off to the right. But now as evening approaches, twilight upon us, you see some clouds rolling in, Chris.
Yeah, we were checking the forecast a little bit earlier, yeah, and you could see way down coming this way. Don't know how much longer, but it was coming. You could see it. So hopefully it stays away.
Rain in New York today.
Yep.
So means it's probably coming our way tomorrow. Malillo spoils one, fouls it back. Count holds at a ball and 2 strikes. Bay Sox 1, Gulls 1. Top of the third. Here's the pitch from Fitzgerald. Misses low.
Well, we're putting up a good fight right now. And there's 2-2 count.
It's the old quality at bat.
Yeah.
Malillo with a Mizuno. Different bat. Here's a pitch high and tight for a ball. Count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 away here in the third. You're watching any CBL action on the New Bedford Cable Network. Fitzgerald's pitch with a runner going, laces one to left field. That's going to fall for a base hit and get past the left fielder Whitkus. Anderson steaming around third. He's being waved home. He'll score on an RBI double by Jeff Malillo, and Newport takes a 2-1 lead.
That ball was stung, Joe. That thing was hit hard, and it had some right to left, plus the wind blowing and helping it that way on that line drive. Sent the outfielder Whitkus flying, not able to cut it off, went to the wall for the double.
So Anderson scores on the double by Malillo as Connor Kennery steps in. Gulls take the lead. Here's a pitch missing high and outside from Fitzgerald. Hardest hit ball of the night, Chris, even though there was the RBI double back in the second. A little chopper. Fitzgerald off the mound. Fields it nicely, gets it over to the first baseman Black in time to retire Kennery for out number 2 as the third baseman Brett Winger steps in. He's scoring that, it's 1-3, of course. On the ground out, Winger steps in, reached on a fielder's choice in the second, has a chance now for an RBI with a runner Melillo on third. The pitch from Fitzgerald, breaking ball, had Winger out in front. Just waved at it, Chris.
Yeah, just you're probably thinking something else coming at him. Didn't expect that pitch. Couldn't pull the trigger back. Trouble.
Broken bat, popped behind third, but nicely handled by the New Bedford shortstop Peyton Hart for the out that retires the side. The Gulls able to put a run on the board, however, on one hit for Newport in the third. One run on one hit. There were no New Bedford errors, and a runner was left on base. After 2.5, the Gulls have their first lead of the night. It's Newport 2, New Bedford 1.
Domino's Pizza is the official pizza of your New Bedford Bay Sox. We are a proud sponsor of the Bay Sox and ask you to please visit us at our locations locally.
Evan King, the leadoff man, will lead it off for the Bay Sox here in the third. He'll be followed by the third baseman Zach Stone and then Alex Black.
Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that the souvenir stand merchandise.
Bay Sox had back-to-back-to-back singles to lead off the game here tonight and only ended up with one run.
Between innings 1 and 9.
There's a double play. Cut that threat at the legs.
Well, they had success the first time up at bat, the first three gentlemen. Let's see if they can do it again as they get to Kalish for the second time around. As the top of the order will come up.
Wait for me to switch it. I'll introduce you first.
First third inning of work, it's Pete Kellish.
Okay.
And stepping to the plate, Evan King, the second baseman.
Leading off the Bay Sox third. Is
He
the
had a
leadoff
single
hitter,
to lead off the
second
game,
baseman,
the first of those
Evan
back-to-back-to-back
King.
singles. Scored a run on a double play grounder by Alex Bulldog. King stepping in here in the third. Showed bunt, took a pitch for a ball.
Once again, big gap in right center field, right over the second baseman's head.
It's amazing, Chris. They're playing, and King is
They
not
are.
a guy you would think would be a pull hitter. They're playing way over.
Unless they think that wind is so dominant.
The right fielder is playing
Yeah.
straight away. That's what doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right fielder playing straight away. Left fielder playing pulled a bit. Center fielder, Rosen is way over in left center. Way over. There's a huge gap. He hit a ball straight away on a line, just going to go right to the fence. It's amazing. Sometimes you see spray charts as King takes a pitch for a
Yeah, you
strike.
can even see him in our camera.
Oh, it's and you've never seen
There
that
he
because
is.
the camera is offset into
Yeah.
left center. Here's a pitch as King fouls one back.
And it's funny because we saw the Bay Sox go to the right side an awful lot early in the game, too.
Yeah, and you see spray charts sometimes in the major leagues where you look at the way the teams play someone and you kind of say, it looks weird, but they have a lot of data to support that. Don't have
There
it
it
here,
is.
and there's King just lacing
There's the one.
into right center field. It won't even get to the warning track, and it's going to be a two-base hit.
Yeah.
That's a classic example of a ball that was probably a single.
Just a single.
If the center field is playing straight away, never rolled to the warning track, stopped in the grass, and it's a double for Evan King. Very questionable positioning
Third baseman.
by the center fielder, Rosen.
I was glad we saw that, Joe. And he's going to go right back to the same spot again. So he's happy to be there. Not in that camera as much. It's, he's trying to get in the picture.
He's there for some reason.
Yeah.
Either he feels very comfortable that he goes to his left very well. Left-handed throwing outfielder, but really, really playing over. And he's stepping over a few more steps here and there. It's amazing that Newport, their coaching staff, doesn't notice that and straighten that out a bit. Doesn't seem like that's where they would want him to play. Here's the pitch to Stone, takes it for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes now to Zach Stone.
Singled in the first.
We'd love another one of those here with King on second base. Here's the pitch from Kellish. Ground ball toward the shortstop. Nicely handled there by Butera over to first to Anderson in time for the out.
Now batting,
Comfortably, didn't even have to look the runner back.
27.
Just take his time and make the throw over there for that first out for the Bay Sox.
Room service hop.
Yep.
Easily retiring Stone. As Alex Black, the first baseman, steps in for New Bedford. He singled in the first, just sprayed one to the right side. Has a chance for an RBI here. Here's Kellish's pitch. Breaking ball. And Black was a bit ahead. Just got a piece at the plate. No balls and a strike.
Off-speed pitch. A little bit out ahead of it, Joe.
Just throw off the timing a
Yeah.
bit. Fastball on the inside corner misses. Black takes it. Ball on the strike now. One away here for the Bay Sox in the third. They have the tying run at second base. This is Kellish's pitch. On the outside corner for a strike. A ball and 2 strikes now to Alex Black. The Bay Sox, early in this one, did a lot of 2-strike hitting. Let's see if Black can find another one of those 2-strike hits. Here's the pitch. Pitch low. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I think we got another view, Joe. Trying to see that center fielder come in.
You can see basically showing left field, and your center fielder
He's just right out of our camera right
creeps
now.
into your shot every now and then. There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Way over in left center. Pickoff attempt here. Hope that doesn't go into center field. That'll produce a run. If you're a Gulls fan, that is. Back easily, it was King. There goes King. And he'll steal third base without a throw. Very, very unusual. Didn't look like he had that great a jump, Chris. Looked like there was time for De Leon to get rid of the baseball, but he held it.
Well, it's one of those, Joes, you know, when you come to your set and the pitcher looks at you, and then as soon as he turns back, boom, he was ready to start to go, and then he went to the plate pretty fast. But it was one of those times, and as soon as he turns his head again, I'm leaving, and he took off.
You're guessing he's only going to look once,
Yep.
especially after you make a pickoff move.
Yep.
You figure out that he's not going to come back 2 times in a row at second base. Sometimes at first base they'll double it up, triple it up, but not at second base. So you get the one look and then take off. Now you just got to hope he doesn't look back again, because even though he might not go there, he might take another look, and if you're running, you can step off and throw to third.
26.
As Black is able to draw the walk, coax a walk from Kellish. So New Bedford now with runners at the corners with only 1 away. As Alex Bulldog steps in. Bulldog 0 for 1 on the night. Grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. A run scored on the play, but when you ground into a double play, you do not get an RBI. If you ground out and a runner scores from third and it's just a traditional out, 1 out, you do get an RBI. So you can get an RBI when you make an out. Sacrifice fly, of course.
I'd like to see him take one, too, because you got the
Another
center
way.
fielder who's way over, first of all. And watch, as the pitch, Joe, watch him take at least 3 steps forward. And he kind of comes on, and here he comes. 1, 2. And here he goes for his third. So maybe catch him, and then now he comes back 3 steps. It's interesting.
2 balls and no strikes now to Bulldog. And here's some situational baseball, Chris.
Yep.
You're at the plate. You grounded into a double play once with runners on. Now here, you're up there thinking, I got to get a pitch that's a bit elevated.
Yep.
So I can put the ball in the air and get an RBI here, produce a run. So situational hitting here, you're looking for the pitcher to get the ball up, especially you're ahead on the count now. You cannot ground into a DP here with 2 balls and no strikes. You got to make the pitcher get the ball up. If he pitches low in the zone, you take that pitch.
Well, Kalish don't look real comfortable right now, and pitching coach has come out to talk to him. He's 2-0 behind, as he's already given up his last walk. So he's struggling right now. Looks like Kevin Long is out there to talk to him. So they're going to have to settle him down a little bit and say, hey, listen, let's get some strikes going. Let's get going again and get back to where you were like at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, struggled here a bit in this inning all of a sudden with his control. Hasn't really demonstrated control problems here tonight, but now as of late had his first walk in the inning when he walked Alex Black. Now struggling with Baldock, 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Low. They'll say he did not go. Check swing there from Baldock. 3 balls and no strikes. Now you would anticipate here that he certainly will have the bat on his shoulder. Don't think he'll be swinging at this 3-0. This is not the major leagues. Takes a pitch right down the heart of the plate for a strike. Now the question here again is still you have to be disciplined. 3 balls and a strike. If the pitch is low, you don't want to hit into another double play. You take anything low, make him give you a pitch to hit. It's still a hitter's count. Here's the pitch from Kalish with the runner going, and Baldock fouls it off to the right. So manager Rick Miller, in tune with the thinking there, Chris said, I'm not going to have him ground into a double play. Sent the runner, feeling that if he hits a ground ball, the infield playing back will score a run and stay out of the twin killing. Now interesting. With a 3-2 count, you can have the infamous strike him out, throw him out, so he holds the runner as the pitch misses outside. So Baldock does end up drawing the walk. And New Bedford with the bases filled and only 1 away.
Let's see if some action's going on as the pitching coach looks down and he's looking for someone calling a name. Looks like a left-hander. Went with his left hand to say get the lefty up.
Some action definitely in the bullpen now for the Gulls as Andy Lally, the catcher, steps in for New Bedford. We're talking situational baseball here again, Chris. You're at the plate. You have to remember that the pitcher's the one that's in trouble. As a hitter, you have to display some patience. Sometimes you get up there and you see the bases filled and you're thinking, I got to be super aggressive. Well, you want to be aggressive, but on pitches that you can handle, pitches to hit. Took a pitch low on the outside corner for a strike. Here's the pitch. Lally fooled on the breaking ball, swing and a miss.
Yep. And then you see the left-hander warming up in the pen. There he is. We'll get you a name in a little bit. Find out who that is for you.
See if we can catch the number.
Yep.
So no balls and 2 strikes now to Lally with 1 away here in the 3rd, and Kalish definitely slowing his pace. Here's his pitch. Misses outside. Been a hitter's friendly umpire here this evening, Chris. He's been very disciplined, and I like that because as a pitcher, you know what? You're supposed to throw the ball over the plate to get outs, and sometimes umpires help pitchers out just because they hit spots and the catcher sets up off the plate. He said, no, throw it over the plate. Here's the pitch to Lally, 1-2 count. Just gets a piece of it off the end of the bat to stay alive. That was a case, Chris, of just off the end of the bat. Was out in front.
Well, big opportunity baseball is very important when you get your chances, and it's something that the Red Sox could not do against the Nationals. They had a stat. I think they were like 1 for 19, and that's why they got swept in that series.
They were horrible over the weekend.
Yep. You got opportunities like second and third, bases loaded. You can't, you got to make things happen. They were not doing it, and that's the Red Sox forte recently. They've been able to really turn it on when they've got people in scoring position.
But this is not the same team you've seen a few years in the past.
Yep.
Is the pitch. Check swing. Just a piece as Lally stays alive. Keeps the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bases are filled with Bay Sox here in the third. Been a long bottom half of the third. Kellish's pitch, and Lally takes it for a ball.
Nowhere to put him now.
Looks like he's running out of gas, Chris.
Yeah, it does.
3 balls and 2 strikes. You start getting up in the zone and you miss wildly, where you're not just missing by a little bit, but you're missing by a lot. Probably running out of gas. Here's Kellish's pitch. Misses low and outside. Did not get the call. That'll walk in a run. That'll force in a run as King scores on the RBI base on balls by Andy Lally. Carl Anderson, the right fielder, steps in for New Bedford. So the Bay Sox able to tie it up here with only 1 hit. Still have the bases loaded and 1 out. Kellish will stay out there. Now he's really struggling to find the plate.
Well, Anderson can run, so a ball on the ground, you ain't going to get much with a double play on him unless it's a rocket, because he's pretty quick.
Breaking ball stayed high. A ball and no strikes. Here's Kellish's pitch. Now he's high, low, he's all over the place. Really has lost it here in the third. 2 balls and no strikes now to Carl Anderson. On deck, the Bay Sox shortstop, Peyton Hart. There is no defense against the base on balls. You can't rob someone of a walk. Here's the pitch from Kellish, way inside, and I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to stay with Pete Kellish, Chris. He's missing wildly now, and that's really when you know it's come apart. He misses low and outside, low and way inside, high and up. Right down the heart of the plate. 3 balls and a strike to Carl Anderson. The Bay Sox have the bases filled here in the third with only 1 out.
We think we've got Mitch Harasic down there warming up.
Anderson grounds one toward short. They'll go 6-4-3 for the double play. So another promising inning for the Bay Sox ends on a double play. Anderson grounding out into the 6-4-3 twin killing.
Yeah, I said he was fast, but the ball was hit directly to the shortstop, who was waiting right for it. Didn't make a move left or right, just pretty much right there. I thought he might even almost take it himself.
It was Butera to Canary to Anderson. 6-4-3 for the double play that retires the side. So the Bay Sox only able to score 1 in the third. For New Bedford in the third, it was 1 run on 1 hit. There were no Gulls errors, and a runner was left on base. After 3, it's 2 apiece.
Aiden, are you all set? Here is the question for you. A player on this year's team
Out to the hill for his 4th inning of work, it's Sean Fitzgerald.
Little League World Series, and he also had a .420 on-base percentage for the University of Buffalo in 2011. Is his name A, Alex Baldock,
Fitzgerald,
B, Dan Kemp, or C,
only given up a
Zach
couple of
Stoll?
hits here tonight, has had control problems at times, walked 3. Has worked well from the stretch. Most of his problems have come from the windup.
I believe you said the answer was A. That
Yeah,
is
Rosen, the
correct.
center fielder, will lead it off.
Excellent, Aiden. Thank you very much, and thank you, Jess.
It's a little trivia question going on to one
We
of
like
the fans.
trivia. We love trivia.
I do
Chris.
like trivia. I had one the
You
other
don't get
day.
a
and
lot of good trivia anymore. For some reason, people kind of shy away from it.
Yeah.
But it used to be always popular. I mean, when we were kids, it was always
Yeah.
popular to have a trivia question or hear trivia here and there. Now you don't hear it as much anymore.
Now, the one the other day was the 3 players who played in the most All-Star games. Who were they and how many did they play?
Wow, that's a good one.
That
Major
was the
Leagues,
question.
of course.
Yep,
Willie
Major
Mays,
Leagues.
I would guess, is one.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Number 2, I would say Henry Aaron.
That is correct.
So you got 2 out of 3 already.
Yeah.
I would say the answer is 23.
I believe it was 24. And
missed
you're right
by
on
one.
it. Yes. But you're right on it. I think
Ground ball right up the middle. That'll be a base hit. Well struck there by Rosen, and he has a single to lead it off for the Gulls in the 4th.
I want to think Musial was the other one.
Stan
I
Musial.
believe so.
Yep.
So those 3, and that was the answer. I thought that was a very good one.
And you know that a lot of those late All-Star game appearances, late in the careers of Henry Aaron and Willie Mays, were kind of just the compulsory
Yep.
invitation. Mays, of course, with the Mets at the end of his career, struggled toward the end. Stepping in for the Gulls is their shortstop, Blake Butera. A ball and no strikes to Butera. Runner on first is Rosen. Here's the pitch. Butera takes a pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Guy like Willie Mays, Chris, it was almost etched in stone that he was going to be the home run king. He was ahead of Henry Aaron in the 60s and then just could not produce to the same level he did earlier in his career. And you see a guy like Barry Bonds, of course, with the stigma of steroids, and some of the guys who were able to produce some astounding numbers late in their Major League Baseball lives. Guys like Willie Mays pretty much got to 34, and they were done. Runner goes. Here's the throw by the catcher, Lally. Goes into center field. But Rosen will hold at second base with the stolen base. And you just wonder what Willie Mays or Henry Aaron or Mickey Mantle might have done if some of the products that were available in the 90s were around back then, because their careers ended fairly quickly. It was not common for players in their late 30s to have the types of years that we saw from Barry Bonds and others like Rafael Palmeiro and even Jeff Bagwell. Just some astounding numbers from players late in their late 30s. So Butera goes down swinging. One away for the Bay Sox here. Check that for the Gulls here in the 4th. Leadoff man Casey Kaufman stepping in. Kaufman has reached twice here tonight without a hit. Base on balls and a hit by pitch. Has a runner on second base. Chance for an RBI. Is Fitzgerald's pitch low and outside. 2 balls and no strikes now to Kaufman. And you, of course, remember, Chris, Ted Williams, 521 home runs.
Yep.
And missed 5 years in his prime. 5. So just
With
project
the war,
out
is that right?
when he went to battle in
Yep.
World War II.
Yep.
Take 5 years,
Sure.
just say average 40 home runs. What does that bring him up to?
Yep.
He would have surpassed Babe Ruth at the time. 2 balls and a strike to Kaufman as the catcher Lally joins the New Bedford shortstop Peyton Hart on the hill to talk to Fitzgerald.
Signals, just want to make sure everyone's on the same page, just in case they want to go behind the runner, whatever they're doing.
And of course, with a runner on second, the catcher changing the signs here. Can't tip off the runner on second, can't tip off the hitter on what's coming. So here's Fitzgerald's pitch. Fouled off to the left, right over toward the on-deck circle for the Bay Sox. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the 4th. New Bedford and Newport tied at 2. Here's Fitzgerald's pitch. Misses low and outside, blocked by Lally. No advancement for the runner, Yale Rosen. Full count now to Casey Kaufman. There you see the tall right-hander, Sean Fitzgerald. A golden domer.
True.
Here's the pitch from Fitzgerald. Swing and a miss. Down, swinging, goes the leadoff man, Kaufman, for out number 2 here in the 4th. Robbie Ort will step in. Ort is 0 for 2 on the night. The pitch to Ort. Swing and a miss. Ball goes to the backstop. The runner will advance. Very unusual there. Just swing and a miss, and Lally didn't come up with a baseball. It'll be a passed ball charge to Andy Lally.
Couldn't tell if that hit right up. I'm not sure where that actually hit, but the ball's not coming up, it seems, after the home plate. Just goes straight down.
2 outs here in the 4th. Here's the pitch to Ort. Shows bunt. Kind of unusual there, Chris, because usually when you try to bunt with 2 outs, you know, you're running out of the box, especially as a left-hander, because you got to beat it out to produce a run, and he was just kind of showing it, maybe just try to distract the pitcher. I really don't know. It's a ball and a strike now to Ort. Takes a pitch inside. 2 balls and a strike.
And backed them up a little bit with that one.
Fitzgerald from the stretch. Here's the pitch. And there again, Ort showing a bunt. Very, very unusual. Kind of a head scratcher. You're talking about bunting for a base hit here now with 2 outs, and you show it. Once you show it, you really can't do it because you've tipped off the opposition, but he showed it and tried to do it and stayed in there a long time. I was a left-hand hitter, and I would always drag bunt in a situation like that. Never try to put it down the third base line so you can get out of the box quickly. Swing and a miss. He'll go down swinging for the 2nd time here tonight. So Ort down swinging, and Fitzgerald is able to retire the side without any damage. For the Newport Gulls in the 4th, no runs on 1 hit. There were no New Bedford errors, and a runner was left on base. After 3.5 innings of play, it's Newport 2 and New Bedford 2. Let's see if Kellish comes back out, Chris, and I think
He is.
he is. So even though he really struggled with his control there in the 3rd, they're going to send him back to the hill here in the 4th. So Pete Kellich, obviously Mike Gomes, the manager for, Mike Coombs, I should say, the manager for the Gulls, wants to get some innings out of Kellich and says he'll straighten himself out here. Has been able to coax a couple of key double plays. And because of it, New Bedford has been limited to only the 2 runs.
Yeah, once in a while we go through that Major League Baseball package at home, and we're sitting around, put on some games. But sometimes you get into that where you turn it on. There's a trivia question, you know, and you always get some kind of little thing. They had one the other day about the city that, which city is it that every sports has the same uniform colors?
Well, that's a good one.
And you know, baseball.
Think a little bit about that.
Yeah, baseball and football and hockey. They all have the same colors for each 3 teams. So that was another question. I actually got that one pretty quickly.
That's a good one.
And you'll know why once we give you the answer.
So So we'll keep that out there for our viewers for a little bit.
Yeah.
See if they can come up with it.
So it's about the team colors. Which city?
But only 3 teams, remember.
Well, we got Dan Cabral already on it. You know, he's the master down there, and he's coming up with answers for us.
But they don't have a team in every sport. They only have 3 of the sports. And if you remember,
Yeah.
originally this team had totally different colors. Totally different. One of them
Whoa.
had totally different colors. The ball off the glove of the shortstop, Butera, for the Gulls. He'll be charged with an error. And so reaching for New Bedford was Peyton Hart. So Peyton Hart leads it off here for the Bay Sox in the 4th. Reaches on the E6, and that'll bring up Alex Whitkus. Right back to the box, another double play looming. This time it's 1-6-3. The pitcher, Kalish, to the shortstop Butera, and then over to Anderson. So the 3rd double play of the night turned by the Gulls.
Yeah, his best friend right now is able to come up with that. Easy position, makes a nice strong throw. Butera over to first for the 1-6-3 in the double play. We have 2 outs.
Yeah, one of the teams in that city, Chris,
Yep.
had North Carolina colors originally. So I don't know if that helps any of our viewers figure it out, but those were their colors originally. Some might not remember that because that's a ways back, but
You want to name the sport?
well, it was their hockey team.
The hockey team,
It was
okay.
the hockey team, yeah. Used to have the North Carolina, kind of the baby blue.
Yeah,
In fact, when they were in the Winter Classic a few
Yes.
years back, they broke them out.
they break them out. Yep, so remember that well.
No balls and 2 strikes. Greg Siskis, Zach Grasick, center fielder for the Bay Sox. He fouled out to the first baseman Anderson. Back in the 2nd. Wind picking up a bit.
A little bit.
A little bit more overcast, Chris, and you can feel the coolness in the air. Swing and a miss. So Grakis goes down swinging for the out that retires the side. So Kalish in a bit of trouble after the E6, able to get out of it quickly. A double play, 1-6-3, and then the strikeout to retire the side. So for the Bay Sox in the 4th, no runs on no hits. There was a Newport Gull error and no runners left on base. After 4 complete, it's Newport 2, New Bedford 2.
Well, obviously, Joe, with that question,
Well, you might as well give him the answer
going to-
now. We've
'cause I'm
given
a-
him as many tips
I'm a
as
big,
clues as
big-
we could.
Pittsburgh Penguins fan, and obviously the Steelers for their football team, and the Pirates, all with the black and gold and yellow. But you were right, I did see that Winter Classic when the Blues came out, so it was interesting to see. But as you said, the Steelers, that was in Pittsburgh is the cities, and Dan Cabral was all over that. So Dan, nice job down there. And
You get an attaboy, Dan.
attaboy, Dan.
You try to see us a bit here, but we have to move around because of the
Little
camera
pole,
angle.
There's Joe.
You can see right here.
Yeah, I'm sporting my Orioles today. That's what I'm sporting. See, I'm sporting my Orioles today. 'Cause
Way over on the
You know why I'm sporting
far
the
left
Orioles,
here.
Joe? It's been a long time since
They were in first
we
place
get
this
no
time
no.
of the
It's been a
year.
long time we get to June that they're actually still up there.
Still up there.
Usually
yeah,
they're way
absolutely.
down below, but
They've had a couple of good starts in
yeah.
the last few years, but then they fade quickly.
They
Not
fade real
happening
quickly.
here in 2012. They've been able to hang
no,
in there.
they've been taking the Red Sox too. It's interesting.
There's
Oh.
a broken bat drive right up the middle for a base hit, so it was hit fairly well
Look at
by
that.
the catcher De Leon, but it goes right back through the box.
All
The
he
bat
had,
went toward third base.
all he had a hand on was in his hand was a piece of the handle.
The first baseman, number 30, Steve
So
Anderson.
De Leon has his first hit of the night here in the 5th. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Steve Anderson. 0 for 1 on the night. Walked and scored a run in the 2nd. 3rd, check that. Runner on first, De Leon, the catcher. Number 4 hitter Anderson at the dish. Here's the pitch. Fastball on the outside corner for a strike. So yeah, the Penguins originally had baby blue colors. They had that light blue that you saw at the Winter Classic. Their original uniform, Chris, I mean the original one, didn't even have that crest on the chest that you saw at the Winter Classic. That came out a few years later. Their original one had just Pittsburgh. Like the Rangers, New York, across on an angle.
Right.
That one they had Pittsburgh. And then their whites had the crest, but their blue had just Pittsburgh across it. So breaking out some old time
There you go.
uniform detail. Runner advanced on the wild pitch by Fitzgerald. So now the Gulls with a runner in scoring position with no one out. Anderson, about 6'4". Big lefty swinger. Here's the pitch from Fitzgerald. This is outside. A ball and 2 strikes. Game nearly an hour and a half old, and we're just about halfway through. Started off at a fairly quick pace, but it slowed quite a bit. Outside corner for a strike, and down goes Anderson for the second time tonight. He's shaking his head. Didn't like the call third strike in the first, and doesn't like it here any better in the 5th. Shaking his head saying, no, that was not a strike. Jeff Malillo will step in.
He's trying to get something, a little bug in his eye, something, so he backs out, calls timeout.
Malillo had an RBI double. Back in the 3rd. Takes a pitch high. Temperature's definitely dropping now, Chris. Getting a bit chilly here at Paul Walsh Field. Malillo takes a ball and a strike. It's the Gulls DH. He'll be followed by Connor Kennery. Here's the pitch.
A little high.
Breaking balls stayed a bit up on the inside part of the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 away for the Gulls here in the 5th. Fitzgerald's pitch, ground ball, left field. That'll go for a base hit. Very late break there by De Leon as he held, making sure the ball got through, so he's just able to get to third base. So runners at the corners now for the Gulls, threatening again with the game tied at 2. So we're being told we've heard now it's Connor Kennery. So Kennery stepping in with Fitzgerald looking in from the stretch. Here's the pitch, and Kennery fouls one off to the left, out of play. No balls and a strike. Runner on third is De Leon for the Gulls. On first, it's Malillo. Here's the pitch. Kennery takes it low and outside. From the stretch, Fitzgerald looks in. Kennery fouls one again off to the left. Behind the manager, Mike Coombs, who's the third base coach as well. Count, a ball and 2 strikes to Kennery.
One of the better teams in the hitting in this conference and in this league, batting .347 as a team. coming into this game.
They always
the
have
Newport Gulls.
a very potent lineup,
Yep.
Chris.
Even in pitching, I mean, 1.50 ERA so far. I mean, you look at New Bedford, they got a 4.0 ERA, only batting .255.
So the Bay Sox have shown that they've been able to take advantage of good hitting, timely hitting, and timely pitching, while the Gulls have just been dominant in both stats.
Yep.
New Bedford coming into this one at 2-1 on the season. The Gulls at 2-0. Here's the pitch by Fitzgerald. Canary chops one to third. Nice play there by the New Bedford third baseman Stone, but he could not turn the double play. Nicely done by Stone to get the runner at second, but they could not retire Canary, so the run scores, and the Gulls take the 3-2 lead.
How about that ball, Joe? How high that went?
That's the old Baltimore chop that we talked about last time. A butcher boy just banging it into the ground. Nice play there by Stone to get it to King, but he could not turn the double play as Canary was able to beat it. So Canary is credited with an RBI on the fielder's choice as he stands at first now. De Leon scoring on the play.
High fastball there against Winger. 0 for 2, batting third baseman.
Brett Winger stepping in. Canary a threat to steal. Is a good lead at first. Check the runner, but Canary back safely. Always like to watch the base running, Chris, because of course my son Kyle led his college conference 3 consecutive years in stolen bases.
I'll tell you, Joe, you have to give that person a little credit. I'll tell you why. That's an art. You got to have, this little extra sense that says when to move, when they go, because some people cannot do it. They just don't have it.
There goes Canary. Ball is fouled back.
And then you got 3 consecutive years. You're doing something right where you read the pitcher and you know what's going on.
And his last year.
That's tough to do.
Stole 40 bases and was caught stealing 3 times. So just that he has outstanding speed. Can run in about a 6'4", 6'5", 60, which is the baseball equivalent of the 40 in football, as he'll tag out Winger as he goes down swinging. And it is a great technique, a great knack to be able not to get picked off, get the good jump, and be able to steal the bag. And as you said, not everyone can do it. He was able to do it well.
Yep.
Well, that'll retire the Gulls in the 5th, but they're able to put a run on the board for Newport. 1 run on 1 hit. There was a New Bedford error and a runner left on base. 4.5 complete now. It's 3-2 Newport.
Well, this one's interesting. The 2 no-man students are going to have to run, put on a uniform, and make it to second base.
Oh, we got to see that.
One's
Here we
going the wrong
go.
way. One's going the wrong way.
Okay, they're a bit confused here.
Yep.
I don't know how that speaks for our school system.
Yeah, that one's a struggle.
Both went down the first baseline. Now they have the idea.
Yep.
They're trying to put a uniform on. They got to put a helmet on it kind of between first and second. And we have a winner. The runner who went to first base, Chris, won.
In the oversized clothes race. Speaking of autograph fans,
they're hustling their way in. They won a baseball, so.
All right, Joe, I'm going to test your knowledge again.
Okay, let's see if I have the answer to this one.
Now, this one I believe is a few people. I know, and I don't have, but I remember the question in my head from, again, one of the Major League Baseball games that I watched. But the question was, who has retired in Major League Baseball, whose number has been retired, I believe, in Major League Baseball for more than one team.
Number has been retired for more than one team.
Right.
Okay.
So this player has played for more than one team, and their number has been retired.
I wonder how many times
now,
that's happened.
example.
Are they saying this is the only time it's ever happened?
No.
I
I
don't
believe
think
there's
so.
there's like
There's
9
multiple
people,
examples.
maybe 10
Yeah.
people, something like that.
Sure
But to
there are.
give an example out there, we'll give you Reggie Jackson. Okay, played for the A's, retired the number
Yankees.
9. Then he played for the Yankees, and they retired that number. But that's one player. I believe, I want to say there was 9 if I'm not mistaken, but
Yeah, you would think there'd be a few.
there was a few. I don't know if you have any in your head, and we can maybe
Just leave it out there for a bit.
leave
I
it
think
for
Willie
that.
Mays is one. I'm not sure if the Mets did retire his number, but we know obviously the Giants did. Let's just
Willie Mays, okay.
ponder. We'll ponder it a bit. We'll have to think a bit.
Yep.
Of course, you have to have some significant performance with 2 different teams.
Correct.
Evan King, the leadoff man for New Bedford, stepping in here in the 5th. King 2 for 2 on the night. And now they're playing him a little bit more straight away, Chris. He doubled to straightaway center field last time on a ball that didn't even make it to the warning track, but the center fielder, Rosen, was pulled way over. Now they're moving him over.
Yeah.
So I think finally Gulls manager Mike
We've
Coombs had
had
enough of that
Yeah.
positioning way over in left center field. He came over straight away now. Finally, I think someone said, wait a minute, what's going on out there? So, yeah, you got to think of guys who played a lot for, some multiple teams and had significant performance.
Yep.
As a ball by King lofted to right center field, and this time they had him played correctly. Nice grab there by the right fielder, Robbie Ort, as he moved over to right center field. King looking to go 3 for 3 on the night, hit it well. Number 2 hitter, Zach Stone, stepping in now.
Well, we got to think of one. You got to think of the Red Sox. Now, who would you think of the Red Sox?
Red Sox. Let's see, guys who've been on the
testing
Red
you,
Sox.
Joe. I'm testing you in this one.
Test one. This one is a test because you got to get the guys who played and did, something like Fred Lynn played for the Angels, obviously, but didn't do enough. I wouldn't say.
Nice
enough.
play.
Oh, there's a nice play by the third baseman.
Whoa! Sails it over.
Winger, but then throws it away. So great grab by Brett Winger.
Yep.
And then threw it away, and able to get to second on the play is Zach Stone. So how do you feel about that? Here's Stone, hits a ball, thinks he's got a 2-base hit, gets robbed, the ball gets thrown away, so now he reaches second on a 2-base error.
And that was a close play at second base just to get in there.
But it's a 2-base error. Instead of being a 2-base hit, you get to second on a 2-base error.
I was surprised Winger threw the ball. I don't think he had any chance at all. Yeah.
Let's see if he
did a great job.
I don't think they've credited a hit here.
Yep.
See what happens. Okay, Red Sox. Guys in the Red Sox.
Yeah, think of the Red Sox now. This one should
teams.
be an easy
There's
one for
plenty
you.
of guys, but you gotta have done enough with a couple of clubs.
Yeah.
So anybody recently that's done anything is probably not done much. But Carlton Fisk would be
that
one.
That would be my guy right there.
Of course, it's two different numbers, reverse numbers.
Yeah.
So Fisk at 27. You
one.
see the batter at the plate right now.
Yeah.
Alex Black wearing that number, and then 72 with the White Sox. So he would be one.
So we have Reggie Jackson and we have Carlton Fisk.
Stepping to the bag for the out is Anderson on the unassisted. Third time he's done that tonight. 3 unassisted.
Well, in my mind, too, you'd have to come back with, and it would be Hammer and Hank.
Henry Aaron.
You would have to think, right?
Well,
the Brewers
with
and the Braves.
I don't know if the Brewers did it, but we'd have to. It's a possibility.
He
played there enough, but didn't do a heck of a lot. But sometimes teams retire just out of courtesy that he was there.
Sure.
So that would be a possibility.
I got one of my statisticians on it, and
Not sure. I'm not sure on that one.
If I get a little text from him, I'll get some more info on it.
Trying to think if anybody's worn that, and I'll say no. It is Henry Aaron did not have his number retired with Milwaukee because a player that I remember after Henry Aaron, Rob Deere wore number 44, if I remember correctly. So I would say Henry Aaron is a no.
All right.
You got to think of real standouts who ended up getting moved along, and it doesn't happen that often. It happens more now during free agency than it did in the olden days because you had to get traded, Chris. Remember when Jackie Robinson was traded? The Dodgers actually traded Jackie Robinson to the Giants, and rather than go to New York and play for the Giants, he retired. So
now what about Frank?
Frank Robinson would be, I think that's a good one. Frank Robinson, of course, with the Reds, and then with the Orioles, number 20. So that's
Could be one there.
That's definitely one.
And the other one that's coming to my mind is a pitcher.
A pitcher.
A pitcher.
Yeah, let's say there was a pitcher who played for the Mets and the Reds, Tom Seaver. I don't know if his
Seaver,
number ended up
possible.
being retired.
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan played with a bunch of different clubs, and I would say he's a definite because his number was retired, I believe, with Houston as Bolduc draws the walk, and with the Angels. So I would think that's a definite one. Remember, he had standout seasons with a bunch of different teams. He pitched for so long,
Right.
including the Rangers. Houston, the Rangers, the Mets, the Angels. Stepping in now, Andy Lally, the number 5 hitter, as the Bay Sox have runners at the corners again with 2 outs, and Mike Coombs headed out to the mound, and that could be it for Kellish.
Well, he took a look back. Actually, it is not Coombs. It's still Kevin Long.
Yeah, it's Kevin Long, actually.
Yeah.
The pitching coach is coming out.
So he took a look back at Coombs like to say, yeah, should I?
Should I? Should I not?
Yeah.
You're in the 5th now, 2 away. They believe in Pete Kellish. He struggled the last couple of innings, but they continued to send him back out to the hill.
Well, my statistician is getting back to me now, Joe. And
Let's see.
as we come through here,
Any other ones?
Frank
showing up there?
Robinson
Was one.
one. Nolan Ryan,
Is another one.
Carlton
yeah.
Fisk, Reggie Jackson, and Hank Aaron, he says.
He says Hank Aaron.
Was on
so
that. Now
we'll
there's-
have to check.
He's given me 3 other ones, 2 pitches, and a.
He's got to check Rob Deere's number with the Brewers.
I'll have to check that
We'll
one.
have to check that. Unless he had that number with somebody else.
That's
and
possible.
And it seems to be a number that sticks in my mind.
He's got a player that played for, I believe, the Twins and the Angels.
Oh, Rod Carew.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have to be one for sure once you get those.
And then the other one's a
For
starter.
29.
Yeah, the other one's a starter, and the other one's a reliever in the last 2.
Kellish will stay on the hill, working to Andy Lally now with runners at the corners and 2 away. So we got a starter and a reliever.
Yeah, let me think of the teams here. I know one of the starters, he pitched for the Braves. I can't think of the other team he pitched for.
Here's the pitch. Lally swinging a miss. No balls and 2 strikes.
So you can think of some pitches from the Braves.
Gulls lead at 3-2. Greg Maddux,
There you go. That's one.
of course, also with the Cubs.
Cubs, that was the team. I couldn't think of the other one. Yep.
Here's the pitch from Kellish. Swing and a miss. Lally was fooled.
He
Had
was.
a half-hearted swing there. And goes down swinging to retire the side. So the Bay Sox threatened again, had runners at the corners, but could not come up with a run.
I'll tell you, Kalish, it's interesting. Now they give him high five, so I'm assuming that's it for him. But it's been one of those where, oh, man, he's just been able to get out of jams. It's been unbelievable. Sox have had him a few times, but he's found the way to do it.
Has found a way to get through 5, and because of that, he can be credited with the win.
Yes. But the Bay Sox, on their own, will have themselves a new pitcher. And that will shut the book on Fitzgerald. We'll see who that is. Number 24, I believe, right?
Jonathan Massad.
Okay, Jonathan Massad.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you did not get lucky and get a T-shirt, you can certainly purchase one at our merchandise area.
So Jonathan Massad, number 24.
Yeah, from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, a junior out of southern New Hampshire.
So SNU again in the
6'1",
New
200
England
pounds.
10, NE10 conference with Franklin Pierce. Bryant used to be in the conference going back.
Right here, Joe. This is all you have to know for the last answer.
The digits,
Yeah, close.
knuckleballer,
No. They're digits, but what else are they?
fingers.
There you
oh,
go.
Raleigh fingers.
There you go.
That's another good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes,
Of course,
sir.
relievers. So
Yeah.
he did that with the Brewers and with the Oakland
A's.
A's. and did have some fine seasons. Some some like Henry Aaron, for example, that's kind of.
I'd have to look that one up. Yeah, that could be.
That's a questionable one, and if it's
well,
did
they retire it after deal?
I guess it's possible.
It's possible.
I guess it's possible.
Yep.
Of course, one number's retired with virtually every team now, except for one. It's retired with every team. That's
yes, I
Jackie
do.
Robinson's number,
yep.
42.
Yep.
Of course, Mariano Rivera, the last player
yep.
wearing 42
yep.
Now pitching
in Major League Baseball.
Yep.
Once he retires, that'll be it. No one will be wearing 42 ever again. So Jonathan Masad on the hill for the Bay Sox out of Southern New Hampshire University. And at the plate for the Gulls, the center fielder, Yale Rosen. Rosen had a double last time up. A ball and a strike to Rosen. Here's Masad's pitch. Bangs one right up through the middle. Nicely handled there by Hart. Over to first in time for the out.
Now batting, number 2.
One away now.
Blake Butera.
For the Gulls as Blake Butera steps in. So Butera 0 for 2 on the night. Takes a pitch for a ball. Here's Masad's pitch. Misses low and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Fouled off to the right. Nice grab there at the bullpen by the Newport Gulls. 2 balls and a strike now to Blake Butera. He's the Gulls shortstop. Newport leads at 3-2. Top of the 6th. Masad working quickly. Here's his pitch. Misses low. Wanted it. Didn't get it. 2 balls. Check that. 3 balls and a strike now. Here's Masad's pitch. Butera takes it for a strike. Thought he had ball 4. Was hoping he had ball 4. And the umpire said, no, you have strike 2. Come on back. And depending on the umpire, some are okay with that and others don't like it. So we'll see what the next pitch produces. Swing and a miss. It produces a strikeout as Butera goes down swinging. Second time he struck out tonight.
The left fielder, number 28.
28. Casey Kaufman. Left fielder stepping in. Kaufman 0 for 1 on the night. Has reached on a walk and a hit by pitch and is struck out. Is Masad's pitch. Kaufman takes it inside for a ball. So some good trivia there, Chris. Once you get a little hint on some of them, you can come up with them if you know where. If you know the teams, I think a lot of times you can come up with it. Just to figure them out of nowhere is a little difficult because then you're just trying to rifle through players that have played for multiple teams that were good with both teams. Because a lot of times, a good example was in pitch inside and low, 3 balls and no strikes now to Kaufman. The question came up the other day: would the Celtics retire Kevin Garnett's number? And I think with 5 years, I don't think so. But if he would have come back for a few more years, and let's say they won another championship, say he came back for 2 seasons, and in one of those years they won a title, then maybe you think about it. And, of course, with Minnesota, he will certainly have his number retired. And wore number 21 with Minnesota. If there was any way the Celtics could have won or can win another title, I would say if he stayed here 7 years or so, a couple more years, and won 1 more title, then be an interesting question.
Well, you look like you got a little commentator on your right over there, Joe. Looks like you
PA.
wants to do a little PA.
PA work coming up here.
Dartmouth Little Leaguer.
Masad working from the stretch for the first time. Pitches a strike. As Robbie Ort steps in. No balls and a strike to Ort. 2 away here for the Gulls in the 6th. Masad misses inside. From the stretch, the runner goes. Lally's throw, not in time.
Ooh.
Stolen base for Casey Kaufman. So a runner in scoring position with 2 away.
That was a ball, so 2-1. Assad gets real low
Yes, he does.
when he gets down into that.
Foul down the left field line. No one can get there. Third baseman Stone couldn't get back to make the play. The left fielder Whitkus could not come in from his position in left field to make the grab in foul territory.
A little PA announcer, Mr. Rutter over here. You know, I umpired. I think I've had him in a couple of games, in some of the Dartmouth All Stars over at John B. Steele tournament and over in the Wayland City. So I've been behind the plate for him.
Hopefully he didn't give you any dirty
No.
everything
You can
was
see
good.
that. See, he's got that look. He's got the hair that hangs out in the back of the helmet, and you know who it is out there.
That's it. Foul back by Ort. Count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Masad to the stretch. Here's his pitch. High fastball. Count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Robbie Ort. Top of the 6th. New Bedford trailing Newport 3-2. Here's Masad's pitch. Ort laces one right field.
Oh, big catch.
A nice diving grab there by Carl Anderson for New Bedford, coming in and over to his left to make the grab for the out that retires the side.
Joe, that goes by him. That's an in the pocket. I think, no
and
doubt.
It saves a run. Nice grab there by
Watch this.
Anderson.
Oh, that gets by him. That's definitely probably an in the pocket. As that's 320 down the lines, 350 in the alleys, 370 in the straight center, but that was more like 340.
And Rick Miller, the manager of the Bay Sox, can appreciate that.
Yep.
He was a fine defensive center fielder, a Gold Glover.
Yep.
And remember, when he came up to the Red Sox, shared a lot of time. Wasn't the everyday center fielder initially, because he's not known for his hitting, and then got to be a better hit over time. Choked up a lot, lefty.
Right.
Kind of went the opposite way. But was always a fine fielder, and that was Carl Anderson doing his best impersonation of Rick Miller, who was also a right-hand glove who threw left.
Well, there's Mr. Arruda there in our picture. We can see him on the camera. Wants to be doing a little PA announcing. Maybe I'll give him my headset, Joe. He can talk to you. Can ask him if he wants to be like you, so he gets some Joe vocabulary.
We haven't had one of those in a long time. I was thinking of Joe vocabulary the other day. Dan was right on top of it. Now, even when I use those big terms, you just kind of falling asleep at the switch. We had it. We used to have it every week on our Friday Night Football with the vocabulary word from the prior week. But
maybe he's just saving it.
Yeah, we use the phrases. If you remember them, come a cropper, all of the different ones that Dan would find, look up, and then explain to someone. Even Baltimore chop, he just has not jumped on that at all.
You know.
He used to have all.
And then he'd tell us what it was underneath.
Yeah. It would,
must be just football.
Yeah. Well, we haven't even done that for a while. And speaking of football, coming our way fairly soon. Drop down the third base line. Anderson, he's going to end up with a base hit.
Yes.
So Rob's.
Isn't that always, though, the way
Ort
you make that great play and you're always the one that lead off the next inning?
Drops a bunt that goes right down the line. And, Chris, it stayed fair. It was in the dirt part of the infield from the start. And normally when you see a ball in the dirt going down the line, it has a tendency to trail and to go foul, but did not. So Anderson ends up with a single, a bunt single. Now New Bedford trying to manufacture a run, as with Anderson on first, Peyton Hart shows bunt. So Rick Miller trying to play some small ball here.
Looking to tie this game up in the 6th.
We were speculating that Kellish was done for the night, but he's back on the hill again, Chris. So Pete Kellish continuing to work for the Gulls.
They must have, it was interesting because they gave him some high fives like he was out, but then Combs came over. They talked in a little huddle, and they said, okay, maybe this is your pitch count. This is where you're at. How about you start it, and we'll see what happens. I think it's in one of those moods.
Ball on the strike here now. To Hart. Takes the pitch up for a ball. Showed bunt again. So New Bedford definitely trying to get that runner to second base with less than 2 outs. Count 2-1 to Peyton Hart. Pete Kellish working here in the 6th. Here's his pitch. Ball fouled off to the right, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, maybe we should do that sometime. We'll put a little guy on, say, hey, like they do with Orsello and Remy. Hey, you want to do the play?
We do that with Ethan Lopez.
Well, hey, somebody like that, we don't worry about him.
And the Doctor of Style. We used to put him on once in a while. He's kind of like a little guy. When
you put him on and, you try to get something out of him.
That's how he
here's
ended
the
up with the
1-2
nickname,
pitch by
the way. It was when he was on the air one day. We had to put him in as the color guy. And what we asked him to do was evaluate the team uniforms. As we digress a bit, Peyton Hart goes down on strikes, and that's how we gave him the nickname Doctor of Style. He talked about the uniforms and the colors and stuff because he didn't know too much about the game. And he's not here tonight, but the Doctor of Style is out there somewhere working hard for the New Bedford school system. Pitch on the inside for a strike to Alex Whitkiss, and I think it was at Bridgewater Raynham, and he really liked the red uniforms, so we had him talk about that quite a bit during the game. Whenever he was stumped for what happened on the field, I would just say, talk about the uniforms. Here's a pitch, and Whitkiss swing and a miss. That's why I'm always glad when you're here, Chris, because you never know. It could be the Doctor of Style stepping in again, and I have to do a lot of talking on those nights.
You could get Ethan off the camera, out of the truck, get him up here, too. You never know.
Kellish's throw to first base, checking the runner. Back safely is Anderson. 1 away. The runner at first. Anderson at the plate. Alex Whitkiss. Here's the pitch from Kellish, and Whitkiss grounds one down the first base line, foul. No balls and 2 strikes now to Whitkiss. Alex is 0 for 2 on the night. New Bedford trailing at 3-2.
2 runs on 6 hits. Well, the Gulls have 3 runs on 4 hits.
And Newport has been charged with 3 errors.
3 errors so far.
The line score is Newport 3 runs, 4 hits, 3 errors. New Bedford 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Kellish to the belt. Here's the pitch. It's amazing the phrases you have and the sayings you have in baseball. To the belt, to the set. To the set. But you also, a lot of times they'll say to the belt when the pitcher really doesn't go to the belt. But Kellish, he goes literally to the belt. When he goes to his set position in the stretch, of course, you got to be there for a second out of the stretch. Right to the belt.
Yep.
Here's the pitch. Just missed, and Whitkiss looked like he got a break on that one. Must have been low. Some commentary from the Newport Gulls dugout. Count runs full, I believe now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Whitkiss. Lifts one to right field.
Can't find it. Oh, now he does.
Just bluffed his way, and he'll turn it into a double play as a result.
Yep.
Ort Robbie Ort looked up like, I don't know where it is, and maybe he couldn't find it, but the runner for New Bedford, Anderson, was off anyway
I think he knew
on
where
a
it was
hit
the
and
whole
run.
time.
And Ort made the grab, and it was easy pickings to cut Anderson down before he could get back to the bag. The double play, the fourth of the night, Chris, for the Newport Gulls, retires the side.
It is
For New Bedford,
0-0.
in the sixth, no runs on a hit, no Newport errors,
Let me give it again.
and no one left on base.
0,
Six complete, 3-2 Newport.
590. If you have that ticket, please bring it to Audrey in the merchandise area. Thank
So
you.
Masad will come in for his second inning of work on the relief of Fitzgerald, who I didn't think pitched pretty good. He actually didn't do too bad. I thought he did a pretty good job.
Jonathan Masad
Yep.
headed back out there. Worked quickly and well in the sixth as we head to the seventh now. For Newport in the seventh, Alex DeLeon will lead it off. He'll be followed by Steve Anderson and Jeff Malillo.
So 3, 4, and 5 for the Gulls. The power of this this team.
A physically imposing squad.
They got some size. And, I don't know how they pick them, but if they're going by size, but they'd be right up top.
Pitch to DeLeon
Now batting the catcher,
for a strike.
number 26, Alex DeLeon.
DeLeon 1 for 3 on the night. Check swing, but it's taken for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes now. Masad working quickly. Here's his pitch. Swing and a miss. DeLeon goes down swinging.
Well, Joe, if you look at Major League Baseball, who's surprised you so far? Who's been
Wow, it's been a
something?
crazy,
Yeah, I think it has, too.
absolutely crazy upside down, inside out year. So let's think about the teams that have disappointed, first of all. And normally you can come up with 1, maybe 2 that are big disappointments. Usually 1 is Masad's pitch.
Well, I think for me on that part, I'd have to go with the Phillies. I think the Phillies have been really.
And the Red Sox. And
Really
then how about
struggling.
the Angels? They've been extremely disappointing.
Yeah,
So
they're starting to turn it around a little bit, though, the Angels, compared to like the Phillies.
to this point, though, those teams are all teams that were almost, and the Tigers, were teams, 4 teams that you looked at and you said, when you were picking postseason teams, said, you're going to get the Angels maybe as a wild card. Now you get 2 wild cards. Detroit's going to win the Central. And then you said the Red Sox are going to be another wild card.
Right.
And yet all 4 teams are out of the playoff race right now, including the Phillies, who've been a huge disappointment in the National League.
Yeah.
So very, very disappointing. Then on the positive side, as Anderson takes a pitch.
Yeah, I
for
thought it was
ball,
a
3
strike, but
balls
they
and a
said it was
strike.
low.
Besides pitch, swing and a miss this time by Anderson. 3 balls and 2 strikes. He's already struck out twice tonight. Been caught looking on both occasions. I doubt if he goes down looking this time. He might strike out, but I think the bat will get off his shoulders. Here's Masad's pitch. This is low and inside, and this time Anderson draws a walk. The second time tonight he's walked. So he's either struck out or walked. 2 strikeouts and 2 walks for Steve Anderson.
I think on the opposite end, I think the Orioles, the
Mets
Nationals,
have been a big surprise.
the
and a
Nationals,
positive.
the Mets.
Nationals, Orioles,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
All of those teams have been huge
Yeah.
surprises. Cleveland.
Yeah.
Cleveland's been a big surprise. White Sox have been a surprise. They're playing well. They were projected by many to be just horrendous this year. Thought to be horrible. Dodgers are a big surprise. And how well they are playing. They were not picked at the top of the division at all. It was mostly the predictions were mostly the Giants and then some Arizona.
Well, they lost Kemp, too, for a period of time.
They're 17
So,
games
they've
above
still done
500.
They still done a nice job.
Due to the machinations, and there's a word for Dan to
there you go.
put into his
Machinations.
vocabulary. The machinations of Frank McCourt. They had approximately $30 million of dead money against this year's payroll.
Well,
Money dedicated, that was deferred payments to Manny, to Andrew Jones, etc. Just horrendous management of that club by Frank McCourt, and he ends up being able to sell the team for $2 billion. So just go and figure. 3-1 count now to Melillo. Jeff has had a good night. Couple of hits and an RBI. Takes a pitch low and outside, so Melillo draws the walk. Back-to-back walks by Masad to Anderson and Melillo.
see if Miller wants to come out and talk.
Second baseman, Connor Canary.
No?
Rick Miller very patient. Was in the major leagues, so he knows, you know what, there's ups and downs here. Don't have to panic. Connor Canary stepping in.
That was way inside, almost took the legs out, so Lally will go out, and one of the coaches from the Bay Sox will go out as well.
Canary had an RBI and a fielder's choice, a Baltimore chop handled well by Zach Stone, the New Bedford third baseman, but could not turn a double play, and as a result, a run scored. Also has a walk on the night. So Canary 0 for 2 with a base on balls and an RBI. The side to the stretch. Here's the pitch. Misses outside. The pitch was outside, so we've maybe disagreed
was
on
on
some
that one.
pitches that were a bit low, and the umpire ruled them to be low, and maybe it could have caught a piece of the plate at the knees. But in and out, he's been very good overall. There's a pitch on the outside corner this time that they call for a strike. 2 balls and a strike to Canary. Temperature continuing to drop here at Paul Walsh Field. Actually getting a bit chilly now here in the booth. Canary fouls one off to the left. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. 1 away for the Gulls here in the 7th. They lead it 3-2. Newport 2-0 on the season. New Bedford 2-1. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Canary goes down swinging.
Well, if you're the Sox, Joe, I don't think you've had, you haven't had your true lineup at all, obviously, with Ellsbury, Crawford, and the slew of injuries that have really hurt. So, you're dealing with guys with Posednik and Donnell McDonald and Nava and, guys that you wouldn't do. But I don't think they've done that bad of a job for what they've had in there.
Their pitching, though, has been
that's something
been
that's
disappointing,
been, especially at the beginning.
They've really had their starters intact, and they've gotten some subpar performances from Beckett, from Lester.
Well, definitely.
Buckholz struggled greatly to
Lester.
start the season.
Yeah.
Bard, it's been just a disaster, the whole Bard experiment.
I didn't like that change in anyways. I thought for sure once you got rid of Papelbon, they said it's yours.
Yep.
Very surprised by
I
that.
did not like that.
Yeah.
Jonathan Papelbon, if you remember, they're trying to pick up move here, Masad. Trying to see if Anderson had strayed a bit too much, but the big first baseman for the Gulls is not too far off the bag, so he gets back 2 away and a 2-ball, no strike count here. To Brett Winger. He lifts one to right field. Anderson is there, makes the easy grab for the out that retires the side. So the Gulls threaten but do not score in the 7th. Score remains Newport 2, Newport 3, New Bedford 2. Yeah, but their pitching has been very disappointing, Chris. The bullpen now, if you really look at it, you've seen some good performances
Take me out to the ball game.
as of late from their bullpen. The closer spot has been inconsistent. You had some solid performances for a while, but still more blown saves than you would have ever expected from Jonathan Papelbon, or tolerated from Papelbon already this early in the season. And we have down below now
Middle school
the
chorus.
Normandin Middle School Chorus. 7th inning stretch.
Yes.
Harry Carey would be in the booth here. Applauding, and they're doing a wonderful job. Let's listen in. A wonderful rendition
Yes.
of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
And I can't think of his name right now, but I see in the one of the chorus was a great guitarist that was on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Quinn is his first name, and I can't remember his last name, but Quinn Sullivan. That is correct, I believe. And I remember that because I had him as a student a few years back. And he's on the Ellen DeGeneres show for his guitar play. So very good. Now he's doing some singing.
So you're just full of information here tonight. You've taken us from
We're moving around.
baseball trivia
That's
to talk shows
Talk shows, Ellen DeGeneres.
of the female persuasion on top of it.
So Kalish is finally going to exit.
Done for the night.
Done for the night. He is. And the new pitcher is number 23 for the Gulls. And that's going to be, let's see, Ryan Pennell, sophomore out of Elon University from Mamaroneck, New York. The southpaw.
I think it's Ryan Pennell.
Yep.
We'll see.
Ladies and
Wait for the
gentlemen,
announcement here in the booth.
now pitching for Newport from Elon University, number 23, Ryan Pinnell.
It is Pennell. So Ryan Pennell on the hill for the Gulls in the 7th, blowing into his hands as the temperature continues to drop here, Chris. You can feel like, you know, when fog starts to roll in and you get that cold air that blows through, and you can feel it.
Yep.
And the stands are emptied out quite a bit here tonight as a result. See some hoods up in the stands. It's Pennell's pitch. Facing Graychick, the number 9 hitter for New Bedford, the Bay Sox center fielder. Zach swinging a miss, fouls one back. Zach is over 2 on the night. Zach Graychick. Here's Pennell's pitch. Graychick grounds 1-2 second.
Uh-oh.
Bobbled.
See, now there's one that a major leaguer would have not have stopped. He would have continued to run forward, scooped it up underneath side arm to the first baseman. He ended up stopping there, Kennery, and waited for the ball to come to him. And then you're going to rush it by then, and he just bobbled the ball. I don't know if we got that on replay.
The ability to judge the hops, Chris, when you're charging. As an infielder, and I played infield, and one of the things that you always remember is you're always coming forward.
Yep.
You have to be coming forward. When you sit back on your heels, you have
He
a tendency
was,
to
he
struggle.
was, and then he just stopped.
Then
and
he
then
just
he sat
stopped.
back, and then it was too late. Instead of continuing to move and
You're
scoop it up.
always trying to judge the hop so you get either a
Yep.
long hop or a short hop. And
Yep.
that time he had the in-between hop. He stopped and he went to the in-between hop
Yep.
and it came up and just caught him on the forearm. So the error charged to Canary. Number 4 on the night for the Gulls. Fastball gets past the catcher De Leon, and advancing to second for New Bedford is Graychick. And so the Bay Sox with a runner in scoring position with no one out here now in the 7th.
Do we play a little small ball with you, Evan King?
King, 2 for 3 on the night. He's been the most productive Bay Sox hitter, so Do you
Let's see.
sacrifice him over? Let's see what happens here. No, he's going to let him swing away, and that's a major league. That's a major league type of approach. Seeing someone who's hot on the night, he says, no, swing away. Try to advance the runner, maybe go to the right side, but have a chance here to hit the baseball. You're 2 for 3 on the night, could have had another hit. So here's Evan King. Takes a pitch for a ball, 2 balls and a strike. So Pennell working to King. Runner on second with nobody out. Bay Sox trying to get this one tied up. Here's the pitch. King takes it high for a ball, and that's way up. 3 balls and a strike now to Evan King. Probably going to have the green light here. 3-1. Very rarely at this level does the coach or manager tell a player to look at one. There's a ball outside. King draws the walk. So Pennell quickly in a hole.
Well, Kalish was able to get out of it, Joe, with double plays. Let's see what Pennell does here to try to get himself out of it. As the pitching coach Long takes a walk down to check on his next reliever.
So for New Bedford, the number 2 hitter, Zach Stone, the third baseman, stepping in. He's going to show a bunt. Corners charge. Pull the bat back. Took the pitch for a ball.
Well, see, this is the Nationals did this the other day, too. They had a runner on first and second. They turned. Third baseman came down, but the shortstop went over. He just stole third. He went right over and just took it away.
Got to be careful how you execute this, of course. You got to hold as a third baseman as long as you can. Then you got to be aware once the batter does not put one down as he took another pitch for a ball, you got to be careful he doesn't come in behind you. We used to do this all the time at lower levels when you could bait the third baseman in. Here's the pitch.
Whoa.
Stone takes another pitch for a ball. Pennell, really no control here at all, Chris. Not missing close. Pitches are way off the plate. Very easy to judge as a hitter to hold the bat. So Rick Miller now calls over Stone and tells him 3 balls and no strikes. Here we need to be smart. He's probably telling them what to do in this situation. You know, if you take a strike and you get to 3-1, even at 3-1, look for a pitch that you can drive. He's wild. He's not going to. Don't help him out is one of the famous sayings as a coach. You will tell a hitter, don't help him out. Here's the pitch from Pennell. Call strike. 3 balls and a strike to Zach Stone. And here's the situation again. Looking for a ball you can drive. If it's marginal, don't be afraid to take a pitch here. They're going to have him bunt 3-1.
Going to third.
Right back to the box, and they'll go to third for. No, they'll say he's safe.
Yep. They said he was safe.
And I'm surprised we don't see anyone from the Newport dugout coming out. Now Pennell cannot believe it. Heads back to the mound. The ball went right back to Pennell, and nicely
First baseman, number 27.
He
went to the third baseman.
Because he'd have to spin himself around.
Winger got the ball there quickly. And remember, Winger does not have to tag the runner. All he has to do is have his foot on the bag. I don't know if he can cue that up again, as Newport's going to make a change here. I don't know if we get that on replay one more time, Chris, but to me it looked like he was out. Again, remember, you don't have to tag the runner. It's a force play.
Yeah.
And the third baseman, Winger, played it exactly like he should have. You're playing it like a first baseman. So Pennell is done. We'll head to the dugout. Newport goes to the right-hander.
Looks like Ryan Halstead is going to be coming in from Indiana University. Looks like number 32.
Strapping right-hander.
Strapping.
That's who it is. That's who it is.
There you go.
Ryan Halstead.
I was hoping they were going to put in number 21 so I can see you pronounce that name, Joe. Back to Hogan Heroes days. Was that Hochstadter? Hochstadter?
John Hochstadter.
There you go.
That's close.
Right, Hochstadter?
Close. Not exactly.
Yeah. Major Hochstadter?
That was Major.
Yeah, Major Hochstadter.
Not quite, but close. It's about as close as you'll ever come up with
That's,
in real life.
I saw it and I said, yeah, I wonder if he's going to come in.
But right now we have Ryan Halstead on the hill as New Bedford is threatening here.
Joe, we got the play right there, and it's tough to see on that going that fast. And camera guy's right on it. Just trying to see if he was out, but umpires called him safe, so bases loaded. No outs for the Bay Sox. An opportunity here, Joe, to take the lead.
And you would imagine here that Newport would even be willing to give up a run for another twin killing for a double play. So they'll probably play the middle of the infield back. They're not going to bring him in because then you open up the potential of a big inning. So ahead a run here in the 7th. The odds are they're going to play it for 2 up the middle and then at the corners in, and that's what they're doing.
Yep.
And New Bedford with a big chance here.
You see as a slow motion, trying to
Alex
see that
Black
play.
steps in. Very close,
Yeah, it
but
was.
I thought it was an out.
Yeah.
Called it that way, but they said no, he's
Yeah.
safe. So Halstead on the hill. First batter to step in against Ryan Halstead is Alex Black. Here's the pitch by Halstead. Call strike.
Breaking ball. Probably looking for the fastball to.
As a
Was
pitcher,
Black.
as a pitcher here, you're looking for a strikeout. If you're Black, you're saying I have to put the ball in play. Can't strike out. No strikeout, no pop out.
Like a changeup on that one.
Quickly 0-2.
Dropped right in.
Now Black here really has to be protecting the plate. Just get the ball in play.
Infield fly rule obviously in effect.
You don't want to hit into a double play, but strikeout is worse, and he does. He strikes out. Strikeout is worse because now it sets up the next batter.
Yep.
If he hits into a double play, you get nothing. So at least if you put the ball in play, you don't want to hit into a DP. But if you do, at least you get the tying run. But now with Alex Baldock stepping in, there is the potential for Newport to get out of this without any damage. Situational hitting again, Chris. You got to kind of know the situation and say, I need to do this. They're trying to get me to do this. I need to do this instead. Baldock takes a breaking ball for a strike, and Halstead has just come in throwing breaking balls, Chris, and tough ones.
Kind of like his 4 pitches, 4 strikes to throw right there right now.
And he stayed away from the fastball and has really had the hitters off balance. There's another breaking ball. Looks like that time maybe through the fastball or a hard slider. Got it past Baldock, and he's quickly in an 0-2 hole. So Ryan Halstead quickly 0-2, second consecutive batter. He's out in a hole. There's a fastball, just blew it past him. Baldock had the bat on his shoulders looking for a breaking ball, it looked like, and Halstead has just come in here.
Mow him down with back-to-back Ks.
Mows down back-to-back Bay Sox.
And Joe, here's a question for you, though. You look at an opportunity when Kalish had his problems, and yet Combs leaves him in. Now you saw Purnell come in. He's got his problems. He don't leave him in.
But he's a reliever.
Takes him out.
Yeah,
Because,
looking at him as
you
a
know,
reliever.
you got to see it how it is.
And again, the situation in the game. Late in the game, bases loaded, could not afford. Purnell was not anywhere near the plate. And as we mentioned earlier, there's no defense for the base on balls. Andy Lally, the catcher, steps in for New Bedford. He's 0 for 2 on the night. Had a bases loaded walk and drove in a run. Halstead's pitch, and Lally bounces one to second. This time, nice room service hop for Canary. Over to Anderson for the out that retires the side. So New Bedford squanders a big opportunity. Had the bases loaded with no one out, and they come up empty. For the Bay Sox in the 7th, no runs on 1 hit.
next circle.
There was a Newport error, and 3 runners were left on base after 7.
This is Serena
It's Newport 3,
from the Normandy
New Bedford
Middle
2.
School in New Bedford. And she's going to try to answer today's sports trivia question.
Here you go,
There
Joe.
we go,
Sports
Chris.
trivia
More
for you.
sports trivia for you.
Wow.
They're going to give the question down below
Let's see.
to Serena. See if we can hear it. No. Of course, it's Bay Sox trivia, so
It's
can't
about
really
Rick
hear it.
Miller. Think how many teams he played for?
They said 2, so if that was the
Yeah.
question, we think it was the
I think
question.
it was
That
the
is
2
correct.
teams he played for. I think that. How many teams did he play for? 2,
How many
3, or
teams he
4, I
played
think
for?
it said.
2. Yeah, and the answer was 2.
Yeah. There you go.
Congratulations, Serena, and thank you, Audrey.
So Jonathan Massad back on the hill for his 3rd inning of work. Trying to keep this one
Again, fans, just a
right where it's
reminder,
at.
make sure you
Newport
join us
leading
in
at 3-2.
autograph rally behind the
Top of the
Bay
8th.
Sox dugout after the game to get your favorite player autographs.
Top of the
If you're
8th.
getting a baseball
Massad has
autograph,
thrown 2 scoreless
you
innings.
keep it safe with one of our protective cases available at our merchandise stand right behind the press box.
Bay Sox at 2-1 on the young season. Newport at 2-0. The Gulls always a powerhouse in the NECBL. No exception here early in the season. Chris mentioned team batting average over 350 and ERA down around 150.
Impressive.
Coming off just a trouncing
And Laconia.
of Laconia.
Now batting for the Gulls, here's center fielder, Yale Rosen.
Here's Yale Rosen to lead it off for the Gulls in the 8th. Rosen fouls one back. Massad out of Southern New Hampshire University has had 2 scoreless innings of work, working now into his 3rd inning. Here's Massad's pitch, fouled back by Rosen. No balls and 2 strikes now to Yale Rosen. Here's the pitch. Rosen fouls one off to the left. It'll go out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to Yale Rosen. Swing and a miss. Rosen goes down swinging.
Now batting, the
He was for
shortstop,
2. He was 2 for 3 on the night.
Blake Butera.
Here's Blake Butera. Butera 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. Here's the pitch from Massad. Right off the elbow pad. And the home plate umpire says, no, stay in there.
Said he caught the.
And I think
Bat?
this time there's going to be a bit of an argument. He's going to show that he's got a hard elbow pad, and so they're going to look for help. There's a new company out there. Well, they've been out there for a few years now, Chris, called Evo Shield, and they make these hard pads that are protective pads that are much smaller. And I don't think they're going to give him any help. And
No?
yeah, he's going to say you got to stay up there. So the home plate umpire just heard that hard clinking sound. Sounds like wood. It's very hard plastic. And it's not the big elbow pads that are out there
Right.
now. And you can see exactly what he's got. He's got that little pad, that little protective Evo Shield elbow pad. And I know all of these things, of course, because of my son. Anytime a new gadget comes out, he wants to get one of these or those. Foul back now. As Butera, you could tell, was a little bit ticked there. As he not only did not get the hit by pitch, but of course it was called a strike off the end of the bat.
Yeah.
So now he's in a hole, no balls and 2
0-2.
strikes. Is Massad's pitch. Butera fouls one off to the right.
Stay alive.
No balls and 2 strikes. One away for the Bay Sox. check that, for the Gulls here in the top of the 8th. They lead New Bedford 3-2. Newport's bats have been quiet here tonight. Only 4 hits. Usually a very explosive offense. Here's Massad's pitch. Butera takes it for a ball. I think that maybe there was a little bit of, I'll give you a chance here, son. Maybe I robbed you earlier, so give you a chance to live again. But Butera, swing and a miss. And he's thrown out. He's gone. Had commentary after striking out about getting hit on the elbow, and the home plate umpire said,
Thanks for coming.
That's a bit much. Obviously, didn't like the fact that he did not get the hit by pitch. Ends up striking out. Home plate umpire said, see ya. Oh, there was no doubt. I knew it right away. You could tell.
Yeah.
Nowhere near the bat handle.
Goes from here and it comes straight over that way.
The bat handle is way up. There's just absolutely no doubt. Home plate umpire went solely by the sound. You could hear it up here. It was just that type of sound that could be off hard plastic or be off wood. And so the home plate umpire thought it was off the handle, the knob of the bat. And so now Butera strikes out, then has some commentary after. That was his 3rd time striking out tonight. Immediately, the home plate umpire said, see ya, you're gone. So Newport has to make a change. Butera has to leave the dugout and go into the stands. And see where he has to go. I think he can go up in the stands. They'll allow that. I don't think he has to go out to the bus or anything.
Don't know what the rule is here, but
but definitely has to leave the dugout.
That's the first that we've seen.
Yeah, we've not seen anyone ejected. So the umpires are holding it up here. They won't resume the game. And it looks like Butera is taking his time, trying to get out of the dugout, saying, you know what, okay, I'm booted, but I got to find my stuff here, guys. I got bats here and gloves there and stuff everywhere. Taking his time. Now he has everything. He's going to head out of the dugout.
Well, he's still in there, number 2.
He's gone from one side to the other. We've moved on to the next batter now. Casey Kaufman, the leadoff man. There goes Butera now, headed along the first base line. Kaufman takes another pitch for a strike. So quickly, Kaufman in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes.
So there is 2 outs, correct? Check that. No, 1 out.
2 away.
I just missed
2 away. Rosen struck out. Then Butera, so 2 down.
Okay.
The ball and 2 strikes now. 2 Kaufman. He's either struck out or walked. Struck out twice, walked twice. Kaufman swing and a miss, strikes out for a 3rd time tonight. So Kaufman goes down swinging, and Massad strikes out the side in the 8th. For Newport, a quiet inning. No runs, no hits, no errors for New Bedford after 7.5, 3-2 Newport.
So we'll have to see a new shortstop, Joe, for Butera. We'll see who comes in and takes his place. Have to take a look here. Looks like number 14, if I'm not mistaken. Do we have a player there, Joe? 14 for Newport?
Let's take a look at the Newport roster. Don't have a 14, so we'll have to check out.
Double check then.
Whoever's out there. And does look like
we have a 14, but not sure.
A 14, so we'll have to go back to our rosters here.
Oh, well, no, now they move Kinnery to short.
Oh, yes, that's what it is. Canary moves to short.
Canary, excuse me.
So it must be a new second baseman. Let's see if they have a new second baseman.
I'll check that.
Canary moves to short.
Okay. So I got that wrong.
See the number of the new second baseman. Looks like 18.
18 looks like. Is that Rainville? Looks like. Let's take a look.
I believe it is Rainville.
Yeah. Tough to see. Looks like Johnny Norwood, maybe. Could that be it?
Johnny Norwood is number 18,
Okay.
listed as an outfielder, but is the new second baseman. So
looks like
Johnny Norwood
Okay.
in at second base. Carl Anderson is at the plate for New Bedford. Back on the hill for Newport is Ryan Halstead. So Johnny Norwood, the new second baseman. Canary moves to short. Ball lifted to left field. Kaufman there. Easy grab. Okay, let's check that. It's
Is
not
it
Norwood.
19?
Looks like they're saying it's
Is it
number
19?
19 now.
Tough to see.
So let's see.
Oh, yeah, it is 19. That's right. We're corrected. It is.
So that's Robbie Ort. He's moved in from right field to play second base. So now,
Okay, so
and
Ort's gone
now
in.
we have to get a new right fielder.
All right.
So we're being challenged
still
here by all
working.
of the maneuverings here. Robbie Ort is the new second baseman, was in right field, moved in. Now there's a new right fielder.
We'll get that number. Check that one out as soon as we can.
For New Bedford.
Well, it wasn't. Now, the center fielder was a lefty. Right? The center fielder was a lefty.
Looks like another
and
move.
he moved over, so it could be someone new in center field.
We're going to
They're
have to
just
really
changing.
check
Wow.
this here. As Peyton Hart's at the plate, as we have changes all over the place. A ball and 2 strikes now to Peyton Hart. Halstead has been the most impressive pitcher of the night. Came in and just shut the Bay Sox down with the bases loaded and no one out in the 7th. It's Halstead's pitch. And he ends up hitting Peyton Hart. There was no doubt about that hit by pitch.
Now we have a pinch hitter for the Sox, and that's number 19.
So New Bedford going to go to the bench. Seb Salvo out of Fairfield University. So Seb Salvo, the pinch hitter for Alex Whitkus. 1 away. New Bedford has a base runner on first. It's Peyton Hart. There you see Seb Salvo.
Fall River.
Had a good start to the season so far. There's a pitch. Misses outside. So Halstead was impeccable until he hit Hart on a 1-2 pitch. And Salvo, the pinch hitter, stepping in. Here's a pitch. Salvo grounds one foul off to the left.
So now there's the center fielder for, that should be Rosen, I believe. Moved to right.
Rosen
He moved to right,
is
so
now in right.
maybe we do have a new center fielder. So a lot of movement going on.
They'll check the runner back easily.
That could be a new player there.
Is Hart. Is Halstead to the stretch. Here's the pitch. Misses outside. Two balls and a strike to Seb Salvo. Out of Fairfield. Salvo swinging a miss on a high fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Took a pitch low and inside. Halstead thought he had one. Salvo, gutsy to take that one, Chris.
He was very surprised but means that now 3-2 with 1 out. Let's see if the runner goes.
Full count on Salvo. Pitch on the inside, called third
No one
strike,
there.
and then a throw to center field as Hart was off with a pitch. Salvo goes down looking. But New Bedford able to get a runner into scoring position as Hart steals second base. Zach Graychick is the scheduled hitter, but looks like New Bedford might go to the bench again. It's like number 10.
Who's number 10 now?
Number 10, Brendan O'Brien will be the pinch hitter. Brendan O'Brien,
Okay.
the pinch hitter for New Bedford with a runner in scoring position. Peyton Hart. Halstead to the belt. Pitch in the dirt, blocked nicely there this time by the catcher De Leon. He's had a tough night keeping the ball in front of him, but not there. Well done by De Leon. Halstead to the belt. Here's the pitch. Missing low inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Bottom of the 8th. New Bedford trailing at 3-2. Halstead's pitch to O'Brien. Fastball on the outside corner, this time for a strike. 2 balls and a strike to Brendan O'Brien. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to O'Brien. Runner on second base is Peyton Hart. New Bedford trying to tie it up here, trailing 3-2. Here's the pitch. O'Brien fouls one off to the left. Just past the dugout. Halstead's been impressive here in relief tonight.
He has been.
Came in the 7th, now working here in the 8th. Here's the pitch from Halstead. O'Brien tried to check his swing. He went. They'll say O'Brien went. He goes down swinging for the out that retires the side. So New Bedford gets a runner into scoring position, but unable to cash in after 8 innings of play. The score, Newport 3, New Bedford 2. Low-scoring game, but certainly one that's been moving at a much slower pace as of late. We're already working on 2 hours and 40 minutes as we head to the 9th. Early on, pitchers were working quickly, but for a 3-2 game and with only a total of 10 hits on the board, Chris, you would think the game would have moved a bit faster than this. But
and plus you got some double plays to get out of the innings.
Started slowing up a bit when runners started getting on in the middle innings. Several double plays. Remember, Newport has turned 4 double plays here tonight, 3 on the infield, and then 1 on a fly to right where the runner was off with a pitch. Was doubled off at first base.
Well, Masad will stay in for the 9th.
They'll keep Jonathan Masad out there.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see what Newport does if they keep Halstead out there.
Yep.
He's been in control.
Unless they got a
Closer.
big closer.
Looking down to the bullpen, don't see anything
Not,
happening there
not
right now.
insides. Just doing some soft toss over there. Oh, there. 19 up at bat.
Leading off the ninth inning for the Gulls.
Robbie Ort leads it
Second
off.
baseman, Robbie Ort. You know who went in the right field?
The center fielder moved over to right. They put in a new center fielder, but I couldn't see what it was.
Ort takes a pitch low and outside. Ball and no strikes to Robbie Ort. Started the game as a right fielder, moved into second base after the
Butera.
Newport shortstop. Blake Butero was ejected after arguing a called third strike. I guess he really wasn't arguing the third strike. He was arguing the fact that he thought earlier in the count, he knew earlier in the count that he was hit by a pitch. Ort takes a pitch for a ball. 2 balls and a strike now to Robbie Ort. Jonathan Masad on the hill. 4th inning of work from Masad. Pitch fouled off to the left by Ort. Count holds 2 balls and 2 strikes. Newport 2-0 on the season. New Bedford at 2-1 in the NECBL. Ort takes a pitch for a ball. He draws a walk. First time Ort is reached here tonight. That'll bring up Alex DeLeon, the catcher.
Alex DeLeon.
DeLeon, the 3-hitter, looking down at Mike Coombs, seeing if there's anything on here. Would be hard to think you'd have your number 3 hitter sacrificing. And Newport doesn't play baseball that way, and we've not seen it of the Gulls. They're having DeLeon swing away. Here's the pitch from Masad, and DeLeon lifts one to right field. That's trouble.
Turned them.
It'll be over the head of Anderson. He grabs it at the wall, but it's going to be a
Gonna send
two-base
him?
hit for
Nope.
DeLeon, and they'll hold the runner, Ort, at third base. So DeLeon laces one to right field. They got Anderson turned all around, Chris, but he didn't have a chance on that. One hop toward the fence where Anderson tracked it down, but not able to hold DeLeon to anything less than a double. And Newport, with no one out, has runners at second and third here in the 9th, looking to add some insurance runs as Steve Anderson steps in. 0 for 2 on the night. A pair of walks, has scored a run. Has a chance here now to drive someone in. Number 4 hitter. Anderson takes a big swing, fouls one back. No balls and a strike to Steve Anderson. Masad to the stretch and the pitch. Ball in the dirt, that'll score a run. Ort will score from third base on the wild pitch charge to Masad. And Newport has an insurance run. They lead it now 4-2. Big difference between a 3-2 game and a 4-2 game. And now Newport, with no one out, has a runner on third. They can make it a 3-run game.
Yeah, not the time for that from Assad. He's been really doing a fine job, but lost control with that one. And he said it, my fault. And he told Allie, my bag.
Anderson swinging a miss. Hasn't looked good at the plate at all tonight. Anderson struck out twice, walked twice. One and two count to Steve Anderson. The side to the stretch, and here's the pitch. In the dirt,
We
gets
go
past
again.
the catcher again, will score another run. Wow. Consecutive wild pitches that produce runs for Newport, and it's a 5-2 lead now suddenly for the Gulls.
Well, Now you have the Combs. You can do whatever you want here with your pitching staff. Bring in someone else. Keep Halter in. Especially with a 3-run lead now compared to the 1.
No activity in their bullpen,
No.
though. They probably stay with
They'll stay
Halstead.
with it now.
As Masad misses outside. Count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Anderson lifts one to center field.
Tailing.
O'Brien able to move into left center field to make the grab for the out. One away here now. Ball was hit well by Anderson, and O'Brien, nice jump to head to his right to make the running grab. Here's Jeff Malillo stepping in for Newport. Malillo's had a productive night. Two for 3 on the night, a double, a single, a walk. And an RBI. Takes a pitch outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes now. Masad working quickly. Bases are clean once again, but not until a pair of runs here have scored for the Gulls in the 9th. Masad's pitch, low. 3 balls and no strikes. The majority of the crowd here tonight is headed home as the Bay Sox trail at 5-2. 3 balls and a strike to Malillo. Here's Masad's pitch. Malillo fouls one straight back. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Masad from the windup, the pitch. Malillo lifts one to right. This time Anderson has it lined up, makes the grab. Moving slightly to his left, out number 2. That'll bring up the shortstop, Connor Canary.
Yep.
So shortstop, the position of choice now for Canary. Started the game at second base, was moved over, as we mentioned several times, when Blake Butera was thrown out of the game. Fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Here's the pitch from Masad. Right down the heart of the plate.
That was a good one.
No balls and 2 strikes to Canary. The wind up the pitch, this time missing low. 1-2 count. Masad had 3 scoreless innings of work until he came into the 9th. Gave up a couple of runs here in this inning. Canary will bounce one to second. Handled there by King. The out that retires the side for Newport. In the 9th, they score a pair of runs, add some insurance. They now have a 5-2 lead.
Yeah, the 2 wild pitches really got to Masad. It really hurt him. And the damage was done for the 3-run leads now instead of the 1 for the Gulls. Halstead will stay in there for that bottom of the 9th to try to close it up for Newport.
Ryan Halstead on the mound, entering his 3rd inning of work. Hasn't allowed anything. Has kept the Bay Sox hitless. Now looking for the save. Remember, he came in with a 3-2 lead, so he'll be earning a save here, and it'll be a legit save, Chris.
It will.
Be a 9-out save. You don't see many of those anymore. That goes back to the days
No.
of Raleigh Fingers and Bruce Suter and some real old school
Yep.
Dick Raditz. Real old school when They didn't even have the term save, but you'd come in and pitch 3 innings, come in the 7th and work 7, 8, and 9. Well, if New Bedford's able to come from behind here tonight, it'll be quite a victory.
Be the top of the order.
And Evan King, the top of the order, is going to try to start it off. King's had a good night. 2 for 3. Halstead working quickly and throwing strikes. No balls and 2 strikes. He just comes right after the hitter, Chris. And when you're about 6'6", I guess you shouldn't be anything but aggressive.
We've seen heat, we've seen break, we've seen changeup. We've given you a bit of a mixture.
Working from the stretch exclusively, misses that time outside. When he came in with the bases loaded, went to the breaking ball initially, and you thought maybe he's going to be a breaking ball pitcher, but now really starting to throw a lot more fastballs. Here's the pitch from Halstead. Fastball right by King.
Wasn't even close with that
Swing and a
one.
miss.
Yeah, he looked really late there.
Third baseman, Zach Stone.
Zach Stone will step in for New Bedford with 1 away here in the 9th. Stone 2 for 4 on the evening. Fouls one off to the right. Zach Stone, the New Bedford third baseman. Here's Halstead's pitch. Call strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Halstead just toes the rubber, Chris, and then comes quickly to the plate. You can tell he's a reliever because he works exclusively from the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
That's another factor in a guy like Josh Bard, Chris, who is working exclusively from the stretch as a reliever and then goes to the starting rotation. Stone grounds one to first. Anderson there makes the grab, steps to the bag. 4th time tonight. A 3 unassisted will be chalked up next to the name of Steve Anderson. But a guy like Bard works exclusively from the stretch, and then you go to the starting rotation, and you can't work from the stretch in the major leagues from the starting rotation. You have to work in the windup and mix in the stretch when you have runners on base.
Mm-hmm.
And his rhythm has just been totally off. There's a ball lifted
Should end it.
to right field by Baldick.
Actually
The
caught by
grab.
the second baseman.
By Ort, who
Yeah.
went into shallow right field to make the grab. And that's the out that will retire the side and end the night for the Bay Sox. The Newport Gulls advance to 3-0 on the season, post their 3rd straight win. They had a 12-game winning streak last year, Chris, and now starting off the 2012 campaign at 3-0. They defeat the Bay Sox tonight 5-2. Our line score, it was Newport 5 runs, 5 hits, and 4 errors. Newport 2 runs, 6 hits. New Bedford 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors.
Well, Joe, I mean, my final thoughts, 0-2 at home and 2-0 on the road. So they got to find a way to get some home victories to keep themselves going. And I'm sure Rick Miller will talk about it with his troops and get them back going again.
And it's, of course, who you end up playing against.
Yep.
And Newport is a tough opponent.
Sure.
So facing the Gulls here at home was a very competitive game, well-played game. Newport really not displaying the type of offense that we're used to them displaying.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still able to find a way to come up with a win. They defeat New Bedford 5-2. So the line score one final time for Newport: 5 runs, 5 hits, 4 errors. For New Bedford, 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. The winning pitcher tonight for Newport, it was Pete Kellish. And the loser for New Bedford, Sean Fitzgerald. That'll wrap it up from Paul Walsh Field in New Bedford. Newport defeats the New Bedford Bay Sox by a 5-2 count. For my partner Chris Santos, for all of our staff here at the New Bedford Cable Network, I'm Joe Cabral. Thanks for joining us, and good night, everyone.